Uh-oh.
I think we're live. If there's people out there, let us know if we're live. Scott, let me know if we're live. He's upstairs because he hasn't played Resident Evil 4, so he's not invited to the party. Uh, okay, guys, so obviously you can see the background. You saw the thumbnail. We're here to talk about Resident Evil 4. I have Brandon with me from Unnecessary Rambling. I knew when I finished this game, Scott said to me, you really need to do a live stream because I kept talking to him about it. And he's like, I have never played the game. He's like, why don't you contact Brandon and see if he wants to do a live stream so you can have somebody to talk with it about? I'm like, that is a really good idea. So that's how this was born.
I'm pumped, dude. I'm so pumped to talk about this because like the last recording I did for the show, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna really save my full thoughts on this game until we get this live stream going because there's so much I want to talk about with Resident Evil 4 the remake. So much I want to talk about.
When we first were talking about doing this live stream, you had asked me, are we going to do it spoiler free? And I was like, no. There's no way to do it spoiler free. And in the same vein, it's a remake. So I'm like, there's enough different that you feel like you're playing something fresh, but it's still Resident Evil 4. So anybody that has played it before will know the premise, will know what they will experience if they've played the game. So
yeah, I will say though, for anybody who hasn't like saw the ending of the remake or doesn't know about some of the slight changes there,
yes.
maybe kind of keep your spoiler blinders on a little bit because there's a slightly significant change there at the end that I find interesting.
Yeah, I really found that interesting too, and I had to go do some digging about it simply because of that. So yeah. I want to say hi to a few people in the live stream. We have Menace XP, how's it going? We have Dan Bunch of Numbers, who's trying to watch Jeopardy. I don't know what to tell you. Put it on one TV, have us on the other, I guess. Big Dog plays video games, says I have it on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, and I really like it so far. Those who complain about the game suck because it's a good game.
For sure. For sure.
I agree wholeheartedly. So I think we should just jump into it because I have like so many people. I totally nerded out on this and I went no crazy. What we have before we start really diving into this one, I wanted to compare the three a little bit. The original, the Oculus, and 4. More than anything, just enough to say, if you move up the line, each game gets a little bit better. Before the remake came out, I thought VR was the definitive version. Like, it did so much more for the original that I was just, it added a level. This has cleared the slate with that. I now think this is the definitive version.
Wow.
It is amazing. So if anybody's wondering, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I guess we can get that out of the way out the gate because we're in the exact same boat with this. I think it's absolutely freaking incredible. It's my favorite version of Resident Evil 4. The original was probably like on the bubble of my top 10 games ever, like right there 15, 18 range. I absolutely loved RE4, the original. And, on any given day, could have slotted in somewhere in the top 10. I love that game. Played through it. I haven't played through it as much. Like Resident Evil 2 from 1998 is my favorite game ever. Played through it 50 times. RE4, the original, probably played through it 4 or 5 times. So it's not like in that level of nostalgia for me, but I did go back and start playing the original a little bit to prepare for this. And this is much better, in my opinion.
Much better. Few more people commenting. We have David. I played the original RE4 a few days ago, and the remake is the better version, in my opinion. Yeah. Yes, we totally agree. 2 of my favorite people. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Retro and UK. UK, look, we're not too late. What time is it in the UK? It's got to be like pushing probably 10, 11, I would say. Oh, there's Dennis. I'm awake and watching. Him and Scott both worked nights last night. Okay. Resident Evil 5 is the best Resident Evil ever. Twice. Twice he said that. It's, you know what? It's good. No, now you said it 3 times. It's I like it. It's good. I can't go best. Definitely can't go best. But I didn't hate Resident Evil 5 for sure.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I need to replay it, man. I really do.
Did you play it co-op or single player?
Single player. Me and my buddy played through RE6
Yeah.
together originally in co-op, and I really loved that, playing through that in co-op. And I know people hated RE6, so I wonder if maybe playing through RE5 in co-op would give me that next level of appreciation for it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have liked it quite as much had I played it single player. Teddy was little at the time, so Scott and Dennis were passing the controller back and forth, and I played one player, and then they shared the other player, and they passed it back and forth so that I could play through it co-op. And I actually really enjoyed it co-op. It's not the best game in the world, but it was a great experience co-op.
Yeah, there's big lore moments in RE5 that are you know, really interesting to see how it's going to kind of evolve, because I guess just kind of getting right into it, it's looking like that might be a direction that Capcom's seriously thinking of going in, of remaking Resident Evil 5, which is, to me, like, holy shit. I was really shocked by that. But they, they may take some time off and do some things in the middle there. I don't, we're already rambling about this, but I really want Resident Evil 9 next. That's kind of the thing I'm most excited about.
Because I know you're really ready for them to get past the winter saga. Like, just be done with that family. I totally agree with you. I want to see something fresh.
Yeah. The thing with me is, like, I don't necessarily want to see something fresh. Like, I love these characters. I love Leon and Ada and Claire and Jill, and, like,
I mean, fresh away from the Winter family, because we had them for 2 games and we're like, okay, let's be done with them. Let's move on.
I don't think they're interesting. Like, I get that it's
I feel them a little bit emo. I was like, you're sad all the time. I get it. It's a shitty world, but I want to see some bravado. I don't know. Like, he didn't feel like a hero.
Well, he was nothing until I mean, it was a blank slate that you kind of got to paint yourself. But I mean, hey, look, I love both of those games, RE7 and RE8. But yeah, I really, I want to see, like, what the hell has Jill been doing all this time? What is like, I want to kind of get an update for some of these characters, and
that would be phenomenal. I totally agree on that.
For sure.
We have a couple more people here in the comments. Spot on, 10 p.m. in the UK. I'm working and lurking, Menace XP. Hey, Never Enough Tech, how's it going? Lance Jackson, hello everyone, just at home playing some Pac-Man World 2. I haven't played Resident Evil 4 in so long. Love it. Resident Evil, though. Resident Evil's the bomb.
It's the best, dude.
Lords of Alba, I can say that name now. I'm pretty happy about it. Oh snap, a live Retro Rivals event. We're actually having 2 this week. This one will be much calmer. The other one will not be, because I'm going to try to live stream Tyson. I'm not going to do well. I already know it. Scott and Dennis are going to try to coach me. So that nonsense will happen on Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll see for how long. This is awesome. Wasn't expecting a live stream. Love Resident Evil 4. I think it's better than the original. Haven't played the remake of 4 yet. Do I need to stop everything and make that happen? Yes, you do.
It's great.
Mondan, who's that guy? I don't know who that guy is. Hey, Mondan. What about a game about Wesker set in the original 1, 2, and 3 era?
Well, the thing that's, like, I think makes the most sense, in my opinion, with Wesker is, and then let me be clear, RE5, like, I do think there is, because, like, I never finished Resident Evil 5. That's the only mainline Resident Evil game I never finished. Really? Yeah, the only one. So, like, I think that for that alone, I am kind of interested to see what Capcom could do to, obviously improve it, and maybe make some story tweaks and at least some tonal tweaks to Resident Evil 5. Like, I would like to see that. But for Wesker in particular, I think it does kind of set up Code Veronica with Wesker's ties there. I think that's an interesting angle to go in to see more of Wesker. And, with Resident Evil 1, the 2002 remake, I'm a-okay with remaking a remake. Totally down for that.
Yeah, I think that one could really benefit from being remade, and I could finally play it because I've been struggling to. I've tried a couple times, and I'm just like I can't. I don't know what it is, what the disconnect is there, but it just feels so aged that I'm like I just
Yeah.
at some point I'm going to push myself through it just to say I played it because I love Resident Evil, but yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. See, I played through RE2 in 98, then went back to the original and the 96 version of the original. I was just like, oh man, this is not, just
Yeah.
that 2 year gap. I just found Resident Evil 2 so much more enjoyable to play through.
Oh yeah.
And then when the remake came out, I played the GameCube version on my cousin's GameCube, and I was like, this is, obviously really solid. The lighting adjustments and the Lisa
Yeah.
Trevor stuff. There was a lot of humongous improvements there that were really interesting. But I still was just like, I love the kind of more free feeling you get from exploring the RPD and exploring outside of Raccoon City in the original Resident Evil 2. I loved that so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. What do I got here? Oh my goodness. Everybody's commented and I love it. You'll never forget Mondane. Oh, video game lover 58. Hey, how's it going? Who else? Bearded Pete. I don't know what's going on there. Just 4 messages. I don't know what it's about. Square pegs. Did someone say siege? I'm so excited, guys. I can't believe I'm gonna like meet you all. That's the best part. Oh,
Yes.
now I got to drink because I'm behind. This happens every time. I'm drinking coffee if it helps.
Are you drinking
Okay.
coffee?
Yeah, I
Nice.
had to like. I didn't have enough sleep last night, so I'm like, I think I'm due for a second coffee. I may move on to a beer later, but
Uh-oh.
okay. So I think we should jump into this because I'm too excited to wait. And the first thing I have in here, like, guys, I have like an 11-point situation going on, but we'll like stray in and out of them. It's just more or less so I don't forget anything. But story. What did you think about the story?
Okay, so I Resident Evil stories. I actually first let me say this. I'll defend the lore for RE1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica. I actually find that interesting, the kind of scientific angle there, the corruption, the government corruption, and then all developing all of these bioweapons and all that shit. I think
Yeah.
that's actually interesting. But I never really loved the story with Resident Evil 4 to begin with. I think it's an interesting
Yeah.
atmospherically. There's really good moments. There's good moments with the cult, and I think they expanded a little bit more with the Los Illuminatus and kind of their rituals and sacrifices and shit. I feel like
Yes.
that got a little bit more dark and detailed in the remake. So that was pulling me through a little bit more. But overall, I can't sit here and say that like Resident Evil 4 is a Last of Us level story or anything
Yeah.
close to that.
They definitely cleaned it up. They
Yeah.
definitely made a lot more sense of it because I found the first time, even when I played Resident Evil 4, the first half of the story felt pretty good. And then they lost me towards the end. It just felt like somebody in the office was like, can we put this in the story? And they're like, yeah, throw it in. And
Yeah.
that's how it felt that it went towards the end of it, that they were just like, what do we need more of? Well, we need more of this, so just throw it in. And it kind of lost itself a little bit, but it tied it up a little bit. And I didn't find it as messy for sure. Definitely, it was more cohesive than that original with what they
Yeah.
added.
And the additions, speaking to that with the story, Luis, man, with a
Oh
big
yes, they
big update
expanded.
there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like for me, I once again being a big fan of the original 3, the
Yeah.
lore with that, and hearing how, he was working with Umbrella and he
Mm-hmm.
was potentially responsible for the development of Nemesis with transporting the Las Plagas to Umbrella and helping them in their research and development,
Yeah.
like for the Nemesis bioweapon, which is fucking crazy to because then that gives so much more reason for why Luis is in
Is
these
even
big.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why he's there shooting people with you, why he's there trying to really kind of he's so remorseful for fucking creating Nemesis potentially,
Yeah.
or at the very least helping Umbrella for their plans of global domination.
Yeah. Like I loved how they expanded his character. I loved how they gave him more backstory. But from like moment to moment, I was like, do we trust him? Do we not trust him? Had I not known the story and everything from before and what's going to happen to him, I would be like, I don't know if he's a good guy yet. Like, I don't know if he's who we think he is.
For
And
sure.
that was really interesting. And the fact that he was around more of the game too, we got more of him. That was so much better.
So much better. So
Yeah.
much better. And having him in that fight with the I'm horrible with these names, so forgive me. The El Gigante or whatever. The big,
Oh yeah,
the big,
yeah. I have them all written down too.
Okay,
I'm terrible at it too.
Yeah, correct me on any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But the big old troll monster dudes, rock monster guys, having him there in that fight with the dynamite, and like he was just such a pivotal character. I don't know, like I feel a little bit weird about going into where his character kind of, fades off a little bit. Do you want to go there, or?
Sorry, I lost you for a second because Waves made me laugh. So SquarePeg said, I legitimately have no idea what anything is you guys are talking about. And then Waves and Games said this, and I was like, it diverted my attention because it was hilarious. Well, Jay, when a mummy RE4 really loves a daddy RE4, they make a Las Plagas.
That's about it, I guess. That's better than I could explain it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It should be like a kid's book. Okay, funny. What were you saying? Hopefully Peter doesn't say anything else funny. He probably will.
So, do you want to speak? We're already kind of on Luis. Do you want to talk about his culmination moment, the big kind of ending for him in Resident Evil 4?
Like I said, all of this was point form so that I didn't forget anything that we might want to touch on before we, you know what I mean, before the end of everything. Yeah, so yeah, we can go right into that.
I was saying for the people in the chat or the people watching, do you want to go ahead and kind of like just put up the big spoiler walls right here?
Okay, well, yes.
If
you guys don't want to hear it, plug your ears, divert your eyes. It's Resident Evil 4, but there are changes.
Yeah, and this is kind of the big one with Luis getting taken out by Krauser, which also big change. Krauser, a lot more backstory with him, and a little bit more of a sympathetic villain with him. They showed, or they didn't show, they kind of expanded into, he went to on this government mission, all of his people got killed, he was the only one left remaining, and so you're seeing his psychosis sort of take over, and then he's really going down that rabbit hole. But then he kills Luis in the remake, which was a big shock. I was not expecting that at all.
Well, when we had him in the minecart scene, I was like, how long is he going to be here? Like, I was surprised by that, because that minecart, like, I love it and I hate it from the old game, because I would often like be like, okay, this is going on too long, and then I got to make that big jump at the end and try not to die. This one was like a lot more cleaned up, and it felt fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah, because you had to try to keep it straight and everything. And so when he was there, I was like, okay. Like, I was like, how much longer is this guy going to last? And then not too much longer after that.
Not too much longer at all after that. Yeah, that was kind of a big change up that I needed at that moment, because it was like, I was into the story for sure. Don't get me wrong, but that was that little kind of just slight curveball that got me back hooked, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see where this ends.
Yeah, absolutely. I really liked that change, and while we're on it, because that first encounter with Krauser, were you expecting QTEs?
Not really, because we hadn't seen any up to that point.
Yeah. Did you miss them not being in the game?
God, no.
No, neither did I. But I wondered if anybody did, because I'm not great at QTs, because I get really like, oh shit, and I press the wrong button, and then I'm dead. And I was like, well, that feels sucky.
Yeah.
I was doing so well. And one like an X, and it was supposed to be a circle, and I screwed up. But it was a lot better.
QTs don't bother me really, like, depending on how they're implemented, but I love like I get, you can't call it QTEs, but I loved, you know, parrying with the knife and then having those kind of timed reactions that you
Yes.
had to sort of get used to in a gameplay setting that you had agency and control over. I
Mhm.
loved that. So when they added that, and you see that that's the Krauser fight where it's literally, or the first Krauser fight,
Yep.
where it's literally all about your timing
Yep.
of you know, parrying at the exact right time. I loved the movement of that. I loved how it gave you a little bit more of a an attachment to that fight. I just felt like it was improved across the board.
I do too, and I wasn't sure what to expect with that first fight because it was more in the first one, it was more of an encounter than it was a fight. In
Totally.
this one, it was like it was a small fight, but it was a fight.
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't
Totally.
feel like you could really like unless you really sucked at QTEs, you couldn't really lose in that first one.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, yeah. So I thought that was a lot better. And then the second fight with Krauser, oh, that felt like heavy. And they took
Dude.
away like most of the puzzle aspects. So I was like, oh, thank God, because I hate it having to try to get everything that I needed to get that door unlocked. It was like way cleaner
Yes.
and way heavier. And did he sneak up? Did he get you from behind
Oh,
that?
he got,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely, dude. And like I loved the you're fusing slight puzzle solving, slight strategy,
Yes.
long distant combat, up close, close quarter combat. It just fused everything. That was my favorite boss fight, like
Was it?
by far in
It was
Resident
a
in the
it
remake.
was a really good one. I don't know if it was my favorite. I think is it Mendez in the barn?
Oh, that was sick. That was so
Oh,
sick.
when he came in, I was just like, "Oh shit, this is going down right now." And I
Yeah.
guess somebody has found a way to like completely skip that one. If you pause at just the right moment and then you come back, you can completely skip that fight. And I was like, "But why would you want to?
Oh yeah,
It's so good."
that's probably my third favorite, I would say. It's so damn good, and a lot more expanded backs, or at least from what I remember,
Yes.
expanded backstory on Mendez with
Yeah.
his kind of rise to taking over the village.
Mhm.
And he had like, because supposedly the village was like prosperous under him, and
Yeah.
then the influence of you know, outside forces came in with Los Plagas, and then he wasn't totally on board with that. And yeah, I liked the expansion of his
I did
backstory quite a
too.
bit.
I did too. I thought it really everything they added didn't hurt it at all. It only made the game better because like you said, it's not Resident Evil's greatest story,
No,
but they certainly improved it to the point where you're like, okay, this gameplay melds with this story at least, and we're getting like a really, really, really solid game. And yeah, I was really pleased with the outcome.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that it's, to me, the more intimate, you know, RE2, RE3, Code Veronica, even Resident Evil 1, I I like those more because they do feel so intimate and kind of,
Yes.
yeah, there is like an element of, with the village and with how they designed this game and this world in general, it feels at times slightly disconnected. Like the castle and the village don't necessarily feel like it's from the same game, and the
Yeah,
island doesn't feel like it's the same game. As there's some part of that that can kind of take you out of it for just a split second if you think too much about it.
I
But
agree.
I think that overall they improved the story drastically.
Oh yeah.
Very specific little details with the notes and stuff made for a big difference of how I perceive a lot of these characters.
Yeah, it tied one area to the next a little bit better, so it made it a little bit better.
For sure.
Um I have next on here atmosphere, and I was really impressed with what they did as far as making the game feel more survival horror, because I don't think anybody playing the original would say it was a true survival horror game. I mean, there was obviously lots of elements of it there, but it just wasn't dark enough, and there was some like really dark heavy areas. Like I know with the when you're going through the forest with the cult and everything, and you come up on that altar, Like
For sure.
that felt better. Like the fog, just in some places, I was like, this is creepy. And I was like, yeah, I get the survival horror from this game way more than I ever did from the original.
Yeah, I think atmospherically, or the atmosphere that the story told a lot of the time was in ways more impressive than the actual like meat and potatoes storyline. I think they really nailed the atmosphere with especially like, and I know this was in the original too, but like, when you're, I forget his name, the Wolverine, the you know the dude, the Wolverine with the claws, and he's in that
Oh,
section where the
oh,
Garber
that's
Garber
Garador.
Garrido. Okay,
Yeah.
he with him. There's, I know it's, once again, it's in the original, but that section of like just hyper, just super realistic looking chains that are dangling down, and you're
Yes.
crouching because his hearing is off the charts, but
Yep.
he can't see, so you're trying to get through those chains, and then you hit that
You
one little
just
chain.
one little chain.
God, man, and you hear him rip through his, the shackles that are binding him. You hear him rip through those, and he's coming at you. And like, I
Mm-hmm.
loved the tension that was built there with that one moment. I thought that was
Oh
excellently
yeah.
crafted. Like I said, it's similar but different.
I found the Garador. I was expecting it to be really hard that first battle with him because I remember it being hard the first time I played it. But I didn't this time. But then when they had the twin Garadors, I was like, oh shit, I can't get away from these guys. Like, as soon
Yeah.
as I shot one, it didn't matter. The other one was like right up my ass and ripping me to shreds. I made it through without dying, but just barely with the
Oh, you
twin
made it through
Garador.
without dying on that one? On the
Just,
two of them?
just barely.
Oh,
Just
dude,
barely.
salute to you.
Oh,
I died more there than anywhere else in the game.
oh, I died so much. Oh, who was it? Was it Salazar?
Salazar? That's the second most that I died.
So much death. I just think I had
Yeah.
a lot of health. I think I ended up having a lot of health during that twin Garador one that I just squeaked through without dying. But I was really trying to play it safe as much as I could. And so I would like sneak off and then I'd run again and I'd run again. I swear that battle took me like 45 minutes just because I was trying to be as cautious as I could. And it still didn't work. It still didn't help.
So let me get your strategy on this, because I want to hear if it was the same as mine or if I did
Yeah.
something wrong. Because I
Yeah.
died a lot. I
Yeah.
would run to one side of the bell where a bell was positioned, and then I would
Yeah.
shoot the other bell that they would go and chase, and then I would just try to sniper them from afar to hit exactly in that sweet spot of their, infection or their growth, trying
Yes.
to hit it right there so it would take them out quickly. But it seemed like I would do that, and then I would just get bombarded by the smaller enemies, and then
Well,
that was fucking
that's
me
what I
up.
did different. I took out all the smaller enemies first.
Okay.
I made sure I took them out because I was like, there's no way I can have them chasing me around and the smaller enemies coming at me. They're going to know where I am every time. So before I even hit a bell, I took out all the smaller enemies and then I used my bells because I just didn't
Okay.
even feel like it was possible. Because I would be making noise off in the corner fighting these other guys or trying to, shoot at them so they would come really quickly. That's how it
So
felt, anyways.
okay, so if you do take out the enemies, like at some point they'll quit spawning, because that I started doing that as well, where I would take out the enemies and it was just like another one would fall from some fucking ceiling
I
place.
know.
I was just like, fuck it. At that point, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna just look for these Garadors or whatever the hell they are, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna try to take them out and then deal with the other bastards after that. So you
Yeah.
can actually get to a point where you take out the waves and they
Yes.
just stay away.
I just had the two Garadors at the end, and
Okay.
yes, but that's how it felt. It felt like I'm spawning enemies forever,
Yeah.
and that's why it took so damn long. It was like I remember Dennis was coming over that day, and I was playing. I was like, I'm just gonna finish this one little mission, and that one little mission took me forever. And that was that one. That felt like the
Mm.
longest fight to me, like one of the longest fights.
So, all right,
If you
I
don't
want
count the death count on Salazar.
Salazar. That's what I wanted to go to. I wanted to talk about this Salazar thing because I found a strategy that was just like, as soon as I did it, I almost felt stupid because it made the fight like ridiculously easy, and I probably died 5-10 times
Oh,
before this,
same.
before I ever went back to the
Same.
merchant and tried this. So what I did was I got that damn, and we were talking about this earlier, the
Yeah.
bolt gun,
Yes.
and I equipped the attachable mines to it, and I just shot him in that little fucking eye thing that pops up.
Oh, that's
And
smart.
he immediately goes down if you do that with the attachable mines, and then you go and you R2 him, and then he
Yeah.
runs off for a second. You do it again. Like, you can get done with that fight in 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops doing the attachable mine attack. And it took,
That
but
makes
it
it so much easier.
it took me so long until I even thought about using that strategy, because I had all these weapons stockpiled up, because I went through most of the game with the pistol, the knife, just trying to,
Yeah.
hoard as much ammo as possible. And that's another thing I will say, before I get off my damn soapbox here.
Yeah.
You can't play this game like Resident Evil games. You have to play it like Gears of War. You have to.
Oh yeah. You have to. Yeah.
You have to. Yeah, it's just not even as fun playing it like
it's no, it wouldn't be. You have to get right in there.
because like when you get the shotgun, immediately my Resident Evil brain, been playing these games since the 90s, it kicks in. I'm like, okay, not even thinking about using that thing for now.
Yeah.
You get this gun, the bolt gun, you get this gun. Like, I'm like, aren't not even gonna think about using it, just gonna hoard it. Also, humongous change having the D-pad where you can swap between all your weapons.
Yes. And having so many slots for weapons.
So many.
I was so impressed with that. I was so happy because every time I play a game like that, I'm like, okay, now I got to decide which my favorite weapon is. And I'm screwed if I need that other one, or if I run out of ammo for this particular weapon and I've only got a few slots.
Totally.
Yeah, that was because could you fit like 2, 2, 2, and 2? So you had 8.
8 total. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think the knife took up a slot, right?
No.
No. So you had 8 weapons plus your knife.
Yep.
I can't remember if Krauser's knife took up a slot. I don't even know if I equipped that thing.
Oh, I used the shit out of it.
Did ya?
I used the shit out of it.
I didn't use my knife nearly as much as I should have. And you're going to think I'm crazy, but I didn't once suplex anybody.
Really?
No, and I love getting in there and like fighting. I love that about a game. But it didn't even dawn on me to try it. I was having so much fun creating ammo, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna need like a longer range weapon for this next area because it was wide open. I was like, okay, I gotta craft rifle bullets.
Yeah.
And I liked being able to craft.
Oh, weapons. I love that.
Like, I loved the being able to craft my own ammo because then I got to play how I want to play. Because that TMP can take a flying fuck. I hate it. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm out of ammo. Well, now I'm dead. I just traded that thing out. I'm like, I don't want your TMP. You take that, you throw it away. Give me something that's not going to run out of ammo. Because it's just, I didn't have the stock on it either. So that's my fault. And I went, and all my bullets are gone. I'm like, I don't even think I killed anybody.
Yeah.
No, I got rid of it.
I really love the Red 9. I love, and this is it's so stupid, but
it's so strong.
Oh, the Red 9?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so strong for a pistol. Yeah. This probably once again takes away from the tension, or takes away from the action horror that Resident Evil 4 really tries to go with, but I love getting my little sniper rifle, and then like you're on the island but you see the factory off in the distance, or you're coming up on the castle, get my little sniper rifle out, just start picking off people one by one.
So awesome. Did you ever go into an area and not check everything out? Because I was like, I'm going to check every little corner of everywhere and try to snipe everybody I can.
Yeah, I do it. I love that. I did it in the original too. I love it so much.
Yeah,
so much. Well, I got a question. The one of my
after you ask me your question, remind me to check the chat because I see people talking, and Mondane's already told me to drink, and I don't know. I'm drinking coffee. So.
Coffee. So the section where you first get to use the catapult or whatever, where they're shooting the big ass I don't even know, rocks at you, and then you get to take over the cannon and then shoot at them.
Yeah,
I love that so much. I love that whole little section. The lead up
too.
And
I liked the second part when you got to raise the cannon and use it against the El Gigante.
Oh yeah, okay.
That was so fun.
Right, I just had those mixed up in my head. He's the one who's throwing rocks at you, and you have to run
Yes.
away from him, and there's, like, that
Yes.
slight bit of puzzle solving to get to
Yep.
the right section. I loved it. Those are, like, I don't know about my favorite moments of the game, 'cause it's honestly getting to the point where, like, that whole game is my favorite moment of the game, but
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm gonna check the chat first, and then I have another thought in my head.
Alright.
So Dennis is saying he has to play the remake, and Jay is saying to let him borrow it, but I'd also have to let him borrow my PS5 because he doesn't have a PS5 and I got it on PS5.
Mm.
And I don't know if I can part with it at this point. He'll just have to play it here. Mondane's telling me to drink, of course. The villagers AI are more ruthless, and it makes it more realistic. Absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. And then we got Denver Gamer Chris Gordon in the chat. What's up, Chris? We did he'll be putting it out soon. Well, whenever he puts it out, I hope this is not spoiling anything for him, but we did an Xbox chat with him. That was really fun.
Oh, nice.
On original Xbox. Yeah. I love how simple the villager AI was in the original. He likes it the ruthless, but he likes how it was simple in the original. And I mean, yes, it has its time in the sun too. Anytime a game truly makes you stress about your survival at a basic level, it's a chef's kiss. Good. Absolutely. And then my sister-in-law's in the chat. I think it's because I'm also streaming this to Facebook because she doesn't play a whole lot of games, but I do have her turned on to is It Takes Two?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Her and my brother are playing that one and they're enjoying it.
Nice.
Apparently there's a golden egg toss trick that's a carryover from the OG to take Salazar down quickly.
Okay.
Did not know about that. I don't even know. I didn't get a golden egg. I missed that mini whatever from the
the Merchant's Quest.
Yeah, the Merchant's Quest. I didn't do that one. I did a lot of them, but that wasn't one of them I did.
I want to hear more on that. I definitely want to hear more on that.
Yeah. As it stands right now, no for Siege for Dennis because it's money. It's a lot of money.
It is, dude.
Yeah. I have finished that part with the second cannon yelling "Dick" as I destroy that huge bastard. Sorry for the language. You don't ever have to be sorry on my channel with language. I've already been told by my husband, you might swear too much on camera. And I'm like, but I'm just really passionate. So what I'm planning to do for our live stream on Saturday is not swear. And then every time I do, I have to give Scott $1 to put towards a game he wants. So that's the plan for Saturday. I'm going to try really hard not to swear. Kids might be able to watch me, I don't know, bite my Nintendo controller playing that game, but that's what will happen.
I can't even communicate without swearing. It's like, it's just instilled in my brain.
Yeah, same.
Bad.
Okay, so Merchant Quests.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
You didn't like it?
I don't like that shit at all. Like,
I just hate it.
Yeah, for one, like the little spindles or whatever you get.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll go and I'll grab some gunpowder. I'll go and I'll grab some, which you do get like 10 of the gunpowder, 10x of the gunpowder.
Yeah.
That's a huge addition. That really does help.
And you know what? I didn't use that one. And I kept thinking about it and looking at it and going, I should get that one. That would be really useful. And then I just never ended up getting it. I got treasure maps. I wanted the treasure maps just to be able to trade because I knew I would need a rocket launcher at the end and I knew it was going to cost me money. So I was like, but then towards the end of the game, they're like, here, have this 40,000 this and here, have that. They were giving me more than enough to trade with the merchant that you didn't have to worry about money. But that was part of the reason I was doing it. I was like, well, I need to know where everything is so I can get stuff to get that rocket launcher. But when we got to that first part with the blue medallions, and I was like, okay, here's my one kind of little side quest, and then I'm done. And then more kept popping up, and he kept giving me other things. I was excited at first, and then I was like, I'm done with that. I'm not chasing rats around all over the place. I enjoyed what I did of it, but I'll only side quest as long as I'm having fun in any game.
Yeah.
Once I'm done with it, I'm done with it.
That's the thing with me. Like side quests in open world games make a ton of sense, and RPGs that make a ton of sense. And survival horror, I'm like, man, I'm literally, and look, Resident Evil 4 is a ridiculous game. I get it. But like, I'm on a mission to save the president's daughter, and I'm off chasing rats and shooting medallions. And like, and don't get me wrong, I did it. I
Yes.
did some of that shit. And like, even I know this is taking shit way too seriously, but like, I don't want to do the shooting gallery. I just want to do my mission. And like,
Yes.
like I said, I played through it again immediately after 2 full playthroughs. So it's like, I love the game. I
Yes.
love playing the game. But even on second playthroughs, like, and I'm not a trophy hunter, achievement hunter, whatever. Like, I
Same.
don't do it for those reasons. I literally just love this game. And even when I go back to it, I still don't really chase the side questing and all that. Cause it's like, I just like doing this part. This part's
I
well
agree.
and fine for me.
Yeah. The only reason I even did as much as I did was to stay in the world a little bit longer, because I was like,
I get
this
that.
game is not going to last nearly long enough for me. I played through it in 4 days. I was done. I was like, oh shit, now I'm done.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, do you know when you play a really great game and then afterwards you're like, you feel this loss, like you just got back from like the greatest vacation and you're like, now I gotta go back to real life. That's how I felt. So
Totally.
so that's the only reason I played as much of the side quests as I did. And I went to the shooting gallery twice and I did like 2 or 3 different things and then I was done with it. I just wanted to
Yeah.
experience it, to say I did it, and then I was done. And yeah, I was like, yeah, it kind of takes you out of the heaviness of the game, of the
Yeah.
combat, of all the like chaos and trying to get Ashley. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time here. And same thing with the side quests. It takes you out of it. But
Yeah.
I want
I
to
agree.
experience it enough to say that I did some of it and then move on.
I totally agree. It's look, I think that I understand why it's there for replayability purposes and all that, but for me, it's just it was one of those things where it's like I could live without ever having this in a Resident Evil game again, and I'd be totally happy.
Yeah, it's I think it's there. Some people might enjoy it. It's not necessary. It wouldn't be the reason I wouldn't buy it. Like, oh, they took out all the side quests. I'm not even going to buy the game anymore. If you're playing a
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 game for the side quests, then I
Eh,
don't think you really like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, and I think like in terms of replayability, there's so much there on offer of like I saw that you could shoot the bell in the village at the opening, and it'll clear out the village and make them all go to the church. And
Yeah.
it's like that's a ton of replayability, or just the way that you interact with the different enemies. And you see the tripwire laying there, so now the big dude with the sledgehammer thing, he's chasing you, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this time I'm going to try to go under the tripwire, see if he'll run into it. And it's like,
Yeah.
for me, that's the fun that I have with replayability, because it's so dynamic. The gameplay is set up in such a dynamic way where a bunch of different things can take place, because it truly is like you are facilitating all of these big moments.
Oh, definitely. I have to ask you, because this was like the one moment that I was like so sad I didn't get to experience. I did not get to put the one of the twin El Gigantes. I didn't get to drop one of them into the lava.
You didn't?
No, I tried so many times. I was like, I don't want to kill you because I want to kill you the way I want to kill you. And I couldn't get those motherfuckers to stay on the pad long enough that another one wouldn't chase me. I was like, just stay there so I can kill you. And I couldn't do it. It didn't happen for me. So I made replay it just for that one part. It drove me bananas.
Whenever I don't remember. It might have been the first one or the second one. For some reason, I'm thinking it might have been the second one. Whenever Luis throws the dynamite up there, and then you shoot the dynamite, and the El Gigante, what is it? El
Gigante.
Gigante.
Yeah.
Whenever he kneels over, I think he kneeled over like right in that middle section, so I was just able to hit the button.
Well, that was part of the problem too. Louise would be in the way, and I was like, "Would you get the fuck out of the way, or I'm going to." I was at the point where I'm like, "I know you die, so I'm going to drop you in there. Give me the option. You're dead, bud, because I want to do this." Like that.
Yeah.
That was such a highlight moment for me in the original. I was like, "Oh my god, look what I just did," and I couldn't do it. I didn't make it happen. I killed them, but it wasn't as satisfying.
And whenever they're doing like their little side steps, like I said, I haven't finished Resident Evil 4 in probably 2-3 years. So like
Yeah.
my memory's not really fresh. Did they do that little side step thing that they did in the remake? Because like they would jump way the hell out to where you couldn't just press the button
Yeah.
and they fall. I don't remember it being that
I don't remember them
so limber.
being that fast.
Yeah.
Also, you had the like zip line. So you could climb up that ladder, you could zip line down, and then they would go towards you when you go on the zip line. And then when you go down, they turn around, but you'd land right in front of the spot where you press the button. And it was so easy to drop them down there because they were right there. But it
Yeah.
wasn't easy this time. And I should have tried harder to take out the guy that I could take out first instead of like continually trying to kill them both. But I was like, wanted them both right there and I wanted to kill them. And I don't know what it was about my obsession with just wanting to do it that way.
Yeah.
That I got in my own head and then I didn't get to kill anybody that way. And I was like, well, okay.
So whenever I did end up killing him with the, dropping him into that pit of flames,
I don't know what it is, lava, fire,
lava. Yeah.
something hot.
I didn't get the little reward for it. Like I didn't. There was no loot that popped up for me. So you kind
It
of
might have
probably
been better
burned.
not to.
Exactly.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that it might get burned whenever he falls down there and you don't get the reward. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Whoever,
Yeah, I
someone
don't
did get
know if somebody knows. I should check the chat here really quick too, because I see Scott thinks he's getting a bunch of expensive games on Saturday. When I swear, Scott's going to get 2 games, and he said no, but maybe one really expensive game. Too Happy Gamer said, yeah, I want to know if that golden egg trick works too. I know there's some cool Easter eggs, like if you shoot the bell in the first image sequence, you can skip past that part. I didn't even know that, and I don't know if I would have done it anyways, because I kind of like the chase at the first. It kind of, I don't know, it adds a little bit of like, oh my god, to the game, like with the chainsaw guy chasing you around. I don't know, I like that part. I like being able to see if I can survive it. That
100%.
was, yeah, so I don't know if I would have passed that.
Dude, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, you go right ahead.
The second time I played through the game, the chainsaw dude didn't chase me at the
He
beginning.
didn't chase you?
The first time he did, but the second time it didn't happen. I have no idea what took place to change that. But even just like the little things like that they do differently for your second runs, it's like, I don't know. There's just a ton of replayability in this game. It's so goddamn rewarding to go back.
It is. There was things I never got to do. That there was one spot on the lake that when I went back, and I know there's 2 spots on the lake, but I can't. There's a lakeside settlement and there's the fort, and I think it was the lakeside settlement that the fucking dogs were out, and I was like, they attacked me, and I was not prepared for that, health wise or ammo wise, because I thought I was just going to look for some more stuff before I moved on. And I didn't get to clear that area how I would have liked to have cleared it. And so I had to take off, and I was like, ugh, I would probably go back more prepared. But yeah, they were like vicious. They were chasing me around and I was a little bit lost. And then I ended up going down this like really long cave to nothing. And I was like, I don't even know where I am right now. So I came back out and I finally found my way back to the boat and took off. But I was like, that place is dead to me. Like, they can burn that place down. I'm not going back there. Those dogs are vicious. But
it was so expansive too. Like having the boat and being able to traverse like this kind of vast lake and, go off into these different directions. And like, that obviously we're in 2023. It shouldn't be that shocking, but it was really shocking compared to the original, when it's just, it's a cutscene that takes you hop on the boat. It takes you to the next location and it just cuts straight to it, if I'm not mistaken. Right.
Yeah. David's saying he wishes that Ashley's separate part of the game was a little bit longer. And I found that was shortened down. It was a lot. I kept expecting to do puzzles, to find stuff. I kept expecting more things but I just found if I ran through it, it was easy. Like, it was,
oh, for sure.
It was almost too easy. I just saw them coming at me and I just kept running. And then I was done. I was like, okay, I guess that's done with. It would have been
Yeah.
nice to play with her with with her character for a little bit longer, but
In terms of tension, the moment where you're crawling back up the stairs and they all have their, swords down and they're all
yes.
like frozen because of the blue hue or whatever above them,
Yeah.
and you crawl through and then that one just kind of subtly moves
Oh, I
like that.
know.
That's so great.
Oh, I know. I was expecting that they were all gonna like clobber me, and I was a little bit. I was like, I don't want to go back through there. Like, no, this is not happening. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah,
agree, it was really easy, but
it
atmosphere
was.
the atmosphere in that moment was great.
Oh, it was fantastic. We have J Chip Show in the house. Hey, J Chip Show, how's it going? Apparently, I cannot say that fast. I just mess it up. Yeah, just lots of people are saying how incredible it is. And then Mondan, he already has a copy of Steel Battalion with the controller. So unless we have two, that one's mine, and he can have a new one. Okay. Where do we want to go next? There's I'm so excited. There's so much to talk about.
Can I okay, I wanna
Yeah.
let me throw a couple of these things out at you and I
Yes.
wanna get your take on it.
Yeah.
So, a thing that I noticed in playing I played like 4 hours of the original just to kinda compare and contrast a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a humongous change that is so small on the surface, but being able to aim your grenades in
Oh,
gameplay for the
yes.
remake, like, that is a humongous
It is
difference maker.
humongous. It is. It definitely is.
I I
And
I
did you notice we're missing incendiary grenades?
In the remake?
Yeah.
No, you get them.
No, that do we? The
I think
incendiary
so.
grenades?
Where they cause, a flammable reaction, right? If it bursts into flames? I coulda swore I had I
'Cause
might be
I was
like
I you know what? I might be wrong too because I was not everybody on the internet knows what they're talking about. So I was looking up because I wrote a bunch of stuff down of things that were the same and the things that were different. And that was one of the ones somebody listed was there was no incendiary grenades.
Well, see, also, yeah, this could be a problem with me playing the remake and then jumping into
Oh,
the
yeah.
original. It might be kinda, like, mixing in my head there because now I'm, like, thinking and I use the flash grenades all the
Yeah,
time.
we got the flash grenades, we got
You know
heavy
what?
grenades and regular grenades, but I don't know if we got any incendiary grenades.
You might be right actually, because now I'm thinking back when I'm going through the crafting list, and
Yeah.
I'm using the large or the small crafting, and then I'm like I'm thinking I don't see in my head any time that I was playing the remake where I crafted incendiary grenades. I
Yeah.
don't think, and I don't even think that option popped up to buy it. So I think you are right. I think I'm mixing the two in
I
together
probably
in
would
my
have
head.
mixed it too. Like it's been a little like well, I played it on the VR a few months ago, but I haven't played the other one in a few years. And yeah, that was when they said it, I was like, oh shit. But then as soon as you said it, I was like, well, maybe I missed it because I didn't suplex anybody either. So I'm like, maybe I just missed that part. But
No,
yeah,
that is true. That's a very weird thing to cut out. Like that doesn't even make a ton of sense to me unless there's some graphical issue with it where it would just look funky. I don't, but I don't.
maybe.
There was a tons of explosions and explosive barrels, and
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't really make sense for something to be cut out.
Yeah. It
Huh?
doesn't. It's weird. I don't know if they replaced that with did we have heavy grenades in the first one? Or was it just grenades? You got grenades and then that's what you got.
I
Because I
think it
know
was
we
just grenades.
yeah. Because we got a few heavy grenades as a drop in this one. Could you craft them? I can't remember because I was too busy crafting any sort of ammo. I didn't really craft a whole lot of flash grenades. I crafted all ammo
Yeah,
pretty much.
you could craft the throwable objects, the heavy grenade, the
Okay.
regular grenade, and the flashbang. Because I actually, like I said, whenever I was going into the game on my first run, I was like, well, I'm just gonna try to save all my shotgun ammunition. So the first time you get introduced to the castle, the dudes with the shields,
Yep.
I didn't want to use my shotgun, so I would just use the flashbangs and
Oh,
then
that's smart.
go and take them out with a knife. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was I know you could craft the throwable objects for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I was so into crafting the ammo that I didn't use a whole lot of grenades at all. And I like there was times when I would be going into a battle and then it would last longer than I thought it was, I would look at how much ammo I had left and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to make it. Like I am low on ammo and
Yeah.
I wasn't picking enough stuff up to craft it during the battle, or at least I was so overwhelmed at certain points with so many enemies that I just didn't have time to pick it up. So I'd go back after
Which
and kind of
standard
replenish.
Yeah, which standard enemy overwhelmed you the most? To me, that motherfucker that did the one-hit kill where his mouth, like, it
Oh,
would, like, come through
yes!
his head and that mouth would sort of
And
evolve into
almost like
this.
a Venus flytrap.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, he was tough. You had to take him out right away, and then if his mouth wasn't open, you couldn't kill him.
Exactly, yeah, and then
Yeah.
whenever he would, like, jump up to the ceiling, and so I'm parrying at that moment thinking he's jumping towards me, but he jumps up to the ceiling and then jumps down at you, and it's like, I could never get the hang of, like, when
I
to
know.
parry him properly. That's even on the replay, I was like, "I don't even wanna deal with it, I'm just gonna as soon as your goofy dumbass mouth pops open, I'm shooting your ass." I
Yes.
have no idea how to deal with that enemy with the
He
parry, I
he
never
was
learned it.
one of the worst regular enemies. The one that really bothered me though, and I have it, the zealot with the staves. So the cloaked guy that would turn them into that shit.
Oh,
I'm like, that guy has to
yes.
die immediately. He's the
Immediately.
worst. He just kept making enemies worse, especially
Yeah.
going up the clock tower because I couldn't see him for the longest time. And then I just had enemies, or is it, yeah, enemies just kept dropping on me and I couldn't do anything about that. I couldn't get to him, with my rifle to try to find him in my scope to kill him because I was too busy dealing with
Swarmed.
people on the rising platform. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess I'm not doing that right now.
The one wherever you're walking along that bridge or whatever the hell in the castle, and
Yeah.
then they pop up, and the one dude, he, like, hits turns the switch or turns the lever, whatever,
Oh, and
and it
drops
falls
the bridge
down.
down.
Dude,
Yes.
I immediately was launching grenades trying to just kill that fucking, what is it, the zealot or whatever?
Yeah, the zealot it's called a zealot with the staves.
I was trying to kill that bitch so quickly, man.
Yes.
So quickly. He's so
I died
spooky.
a lot of times there because I wasn't expecting it to be that hard.
Yeah,
And
it's challenging.
yeah, I went into it and I was like, oh shit, like I have to be more prepared. So I think I died 2 or 3 times just on that one. I was like, okay. And then there's other parts where I was expecting it to be a lot harder and then it wasn't, but I think I was like living from the past game, okay, going, okay, this is going to be challenging. Get ready. And then I go through it. Like the first Gyarados, I didn't find him hard.
Yeah.
I was expecting him to be hard. So like there was a few enemies. Let me mention it, I guess, while I'm here. This might be I don't know, a hot take. I didn't like the look of the dogs right off the bat. I thought they were a little bit like they were menacing, but they looked odd to me. I don't know what it was about the dogs that I was just like, they looked off.
Okay. So I'm once again, I'm trying, maybe I shouldn't have played the damn original.
Oh, no
So
worries.
the dog, was it in the remake where they had the goofy ass teeth, like, hanging on the outside of their mouth almost? Like, it was just like these big ass teeth?
It might have been.
Okay.
I just found they looked like I was like, they looked more goofy.
It was goofy looking. What I remember
Yeah.
specifically going, that's fucking goofy looking.
Yeah. Although the
Okay.
way they introduced them was phenomenal because I go back into the village square after
Mm,
everybody's gone, my second trip through there. And when the tower falls,
yeah.
scared the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting it because it never happens in the original. And then the dogs come out and I'm not expecting that either. So that caught me off guard, but I was like, they look goofy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The having them, like, pop out during the maze section too.
Yes.
I really enjoyed, just once again talking about atmosphere tension. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed, like, not really knowing what was around that corner, but hearing them. That was
Yes.
that I don't think that the audio is great in the remake though. I didn't find the audio to be tremendous.
It's hard for me to tell because we have a pretty good surround sound down here that I would really have to like compare it against the original and to see or compare it against another game. Like
Yeah.
I felt pretty immersed with the sound, but it could be just the setup too.
Okay, yeah, because I was just playing
Yeah.
on TV speakers. I was like, I don't like, and once again, not complaining. Love the game, but
Yeah.
also visually, I thought it was good, but
Yeah.
I never thought that the RE4 remake felt like some sort of graphical leap from RE2 or RE3. It just felt like
No.
a really good last gen looking game.
I agree. I agree. I wasn't like I really loved what we got, but
Yeah,
I'm not going to be like writing a letter going, "Wow, those are the best graphics anybody's ever seen ever." Like it's
no.
just it's really really good. It's just not, I don't know.
Horizon Forbidden West, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank, like
Exactly.
even a game that I don't like, The Medium, I think looks better than this.
Yes, yeah. It looked like I, no better than Resident Evil 7 or 8 would have, maybe more than 7, but like Resident Evil 8 was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and I mean,
Yeah, no,
they
it's
didn't do
not.
anything different.
No, I'm very much ready to leave the last gen ports in the past. I get
Yes,
it.
I agree.
You know, the first few years they were hard to, or couple years where
Yeah,
they were hard to come by, the shortages and all this and that. But like, man, I think we're getting to a point where it's starting to hurt developers a little bit to get
I think so
something
too.
that could be like Horizon Forbidden West. The fact, well, not a Horizon Forbidden West spoiler review thing here, but the fact that that is on a PS4, I can't imagine how miserable those developers were trying to get that to be
Yeah,
packed into that system.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I haven't gotten to dive into that one, but I've seen a lot of gameplay of it, and I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. Here I had to have it, even though we were doing like no buy February, no fun February, and I had to have it, and I bought it before, and then I got it for free because Amazon messed up so badly with
Oh yeah.
my copy. I still haven't played it, but
You
that's
have
the problem. Like
you
too
have
many
to get like
free games.
motivated.
Yes,
For those type of games, you have to be like pep in the step, ready to go. Those are big, man. That's a
it's a
lot
big
of
game.
time.
I
Big
remember
time
playing the
commitment.
first one, and it took me a while to get into it. Nothing against like the gameplay was solid. It was like a great looking game. It was just a lot. And I'm not necessarily like a big open world gamer.
Mm,
I get too sidetracked with
yeah.
everything. Like it's just it almost becomes overwhelming to me where I'm like, I'm never finishing this game because I'm too sidetracked.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, man. I totally get that.
Yeah. And some people love it. Some people love that open world aspect. And I'm just like, I need a little bit of a linear situation so I know there's an ending eventually.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the open world shit. I love it
Yeah.
so damn much. But one other thing I wanted to hit
Yeah.
on. I when I was playing the original, something that I forgot how miserable and monotonous and just goddamn annoying, Ashley's health meter. She had a health
Yes,
meter
yes,
in
yes.
the original. That sucks bad
I
in the
was
original.
so happy. I was so happy there was no Ashley health meter because I was like, bitch, you'll die because I don't want to share my health with you. I want me
No.
to be healthy. Now, could she get like she would fall down and you'd have to help her back up in this one? Did that happen in the first one? Or
No, it's just straight up a health meter, I believe, because
okay.
she would get incapacitated in the remake and you would have to walk up to her and press R3.
R3. Yeah.
Here's something I noticed. They don't wanna kill her. So
No,
when she's incapacitated, that's best to just leave her ass be because they're not gonna try to kill her.
I
So
agree.
just let her ass get knocked out, and then
Yeah.
you go off and you start taking out the enemies one by one. That's actually the best case
That's the
scenario
best
for
way to
you, I
do it.
found.
I died so many times in that damn cemetery outside the church because I kept trying to had to go back and get her, and I was like, I should have just left her there and then just went up higher towards the church and tried to take everybody out. And then if they tried to walk away with her, if they walked towards me, well, I could take them out, and I had clear sights if they were walking away to take them out that way. But no,
Yeah.
no, no, I had to make it as impossible as possible and just try to slog my way through it and run with her. And I know there was two different ways to run where you could have her closer to you, and if you like kept zagging back and forth, it was a bit easier. But she just kept getting captured, and I was like, okay, die then. I don't care.
Yeah,
She
no,
wasn't as annoying this time. It wasn't as bad.
she is that's the big improvement of the
Yes.
game in terms of narratively. Of course, Luisa's that's a great change, but
Yeah.
Ashley's character of look, I don't dig the fucking and whatever, call me an old man for this or whatever. I
Get off
don't
my lawn.
yeah, I don't dig the sexualization of chicks that sound that young. I don't. That shit's
Absolutely.
creepy, man.
That was one of my things on my list that I had here about changes like they made in the game. They got rid of that like weird sexual innuendos. Like he didn't do any of that. It wasn't even like who is the like their contact on the other line. I can't remember her name.
Hunnigan.
Yeah,
Hunnigan,
there was
yeah.
no even weird stuff between them because he hits on her at the end of the game and he doesn't do it this time. And there's no like the thing she's like, you should come work for my dad. Like it was more like that instead of like, hey baby, how's it going? Like let's
Yeah.
come. No, there was none of that. And yes, I agree. She's a young character. It has no part in
Well,
that.
and even the little like suggestive flirting that she'll do with Leon, it's she sounds like a woman in this game. She doesn't sound like a little kid. So it's like
Yes.
whenever little things like that do pop up, Luisa makes a little bit of a little hint
Yeah.
at flirting with her. It's like it's not as cringy to me.
No, it's not. It's
I
not.
don't
And she does feel older in this one.
very much,
Yeah.
very much.
Like I just in her overall appearance, like she looked aged in the face, a little bit older. And I know they're dealing with like older graphics too, so it's a little bit harder to do everything you want to do. But yeah, like she didn't look as young. She didn't act as young. She didn't dress as young.
No.
Yeah, so everything Ashley wise. I mean, obviously you still have to keep her from getting captured again and dying, but yeah, it was way improved.
Way improved. I played the like within 5 minutes of playing through the original section with her, she gets trapped in the bear trap and her health
Yes.
goes from full
I
to
know.
nothing. I'm like, that is unbelievably miserable. Now I'm having to bust out a damn green herb for this chick. Ain't no damn way you're taking one of my green herbs. I've worked hard
I
for these
know.
green herbs.
I know.
God.
I was so happy with that change. Well, the first time she got captured, I was like, oh great, here we go. But then it's a timer, which is a lot better. And I think it was a timer in the first one too, or if they got too far away or if they got through a door. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, this is so much better.
It's
Since
a
we're
lot
on the
better.
topic of like main characters in the game, I have to know how you felt about Ada. I knew we were going to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good, is it?
No.
It's not good, dude.
What's
I
with her voice?
Okay, here. Let me say this before because
It
I've
didn't
heard
bother
that
me towards the end, but the voice at the first, oh my god.
I've heard that the lady who did the voice works being harassed and all that. That's fucking horrible. Don't do
That is
goofy shit
horrible.
like that. But
No.
with that being said, it's not good. And I also say I don't think that's her fault. She has to be directed. She has to be told,
Exactly.
like, if because to me, what I took away from this, from her new revised performance that was delivered
Mhm.
here with Ada, it felt a lot more like I'm not a big superhero. Scarlett Johansson. Who does she play? Black Widow?
Black
Is
Widow.
that?
Yep.
Yeah, it felt a lot more very subdued, very emotionless, and which Ada does have a tendency to do that, but Ada is a little bit more calculated and
And
devious and
ruthless.
yes,
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I felt like she had taken some like over the counter drowsy make you sleep medication. I felt like she was definitely still like she was more of an anti-hero, which I liked.
okay, yeah,
Didn't feel like the bad guy in this one necessarily, where in
at
the
all.
last one she was like, okay, she's against me. But yeah, she just I don't know. Like there was no inflection in her voice. There was no like I don't know. She was flat. That
Very
character
flat.
was very flat. It was I love Ada. I think she's a great character and they that by directing her that way and having her play that role that way, it was a huge injustice to the character. Could
I
have been done
agree.
so much better. Because I question my own thought process and my own like feelings about a game, because like I said to you, I still feel like sometimes I'm so brand new to gaming, I'm like, is that just my opinion or would everybody else? And so knowing you felt like that too, I was like, okay, it it makes sense. It's not just me.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are reasons why I could see that change being made, but it even felt like dips in audio quality from what was on her end compared to Leon and Ashley. It
Yeah,
was a very weird shift where something just didn't feel right with that. But once again, I you have to like green light this. You have to sign off on it if you're Capcom. Like whoever
exactly.
was you know, advising her or whatever role that you know the director was with in relation to her, there should have been some adjustments made, unless that's some new direction that they're trying to go with Ada. And if we're you want to go ahead and talk about the slight little not
Yeah,
slight pretty
yeah,
big change there at
yeah,
the end.
yeah,
So it, in the original, like you said, Ada seemed a lot more nefarious, a lot more in cahoots with Wesker and kind of okay with that plan.
yes,
Um, of what does he say? Global saturation or whatever.
yeah, something like that.
Well, she seemed a lot more in cahoots and was okay with double crossing Leon and shit in
Yes,
the 4 original. And then in the remake, she gets on the computer chatting with Wesker, and he reveals his plans for global saturation or whatever,
yeah,
and she puts a damn gun to the pilot's head and says, you know, no, we're turning this thing around. He's not getting the
exactly.
sample. And like
Yeah,
that's a humongous shift. I don't and I assume because I didn't play the Ada DLC in the 4 original.
I didn't play it either.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we might be missing something that might just be leading straight into the DLC, and it's like no, you know, no reason to even overthink this. But when I played the remake, I started going, "Oh shit, is she going to be like the connective tissue to be a new main character?" Because that seemed like a humongous shift. It
yeah.
tonally, the way that they want us to perceive her in terms of not being a villain and not really leaning a lot more into at the end of it a straight up hero
I
role.
know, because in the original, in the end of it, am I correct? Like she's the one that blows up the island.
Yeah, she presses the
Yeah.
button. Yep.
Yes. And then she tries to take Leon with her in the helicopter this time, and he's like, "Well, no, I gotta go back and save this crazy girl." And she throws him the keys to her. Like she doesn't even steal the sample this time. She picks it up and she's like, "I'm gonna take this."
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he doesn't put up a fight about it. So
Totally.
yeah, it's a completely different plot shift in that ending with her, like where she becomes more of an anti-hero than a villain.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and the a very subtle thing that I noticed in her story that kind of revolves around Krauser as well is whenever Leon and her get into that kind of close quarter combat, whatever you want to call it, where he ends up pulling the knife and putting the knife to her throat. Remember that at the
Yeah.
in the remake?
Yeah.
And he because like she went to go grab the gun or whatever, and he put the knife to her throat, and he said knives work better in close quarter combat or whatever he said. And then
Yes.
Krauser says the same thing to Leon later
Yep.
in the game, and that
Yep.
was just like a holy shit moment where you really see how much of Krauser Leon took with him from being trained from Krauser. And that's a I don't know how much of that was revealed in the original game
Yeah,
either,
I
where
don't know how much of it was.
yeah, because they have like Leon essentially assigned to this government operation out of obligation more than him just wanting to be a part of this thing. Like he
Yeah.
seemed forced into this role. And then they talk about how he was working with Krauser and Krauser kind of trained him. And it I don't remember a lot of that in the original.
I don't either. And I I caught the same thing you did with the knife. I loved that it like shifted on Leon where like he Krauser pulled the same trick on him, and I was like, fuck yeah, you can see that there. I liked it. It was
Yeah.
yeah.
I think a lot of just the way that Krauser moves and thinks and like
Oh yeah.
there's those little subtleties where you see like Leon, and this is so nerdy, but like in the animated movies and shit, like I really
Yeah.
love some of the animated movies. Leon's kind of fucked up. in some of the animated movies. And like he never gets to the level of Krauser, like he's not, full off the deep end, but Leon
Yeah.
like gets into like this hardcore drinking, he becomes an alcoholic and he's having a hard time coming back from that. And so I think a lot of the same shit that's fucking with Krauser is probably fucking with Leon too, if they were that close and
Yes.
Leon really looked at him as a mentor in that
Yeah.
high of a regard.
Definitely, for sure. I haven't watched any of the animated stuff. I'm sure Scott has, because he typically does, but I would be interested in watching it now just to see that play out some more, to see that in Leon's character. I did find Leon's character was better this time around. He was less, I felt sometimes he was like cheesy pretty boy in the first game, and like some of the one-liners I was like, but this one I like, his character felt more realistic in the environment.
For sure.
Yeah, I really
agree.
thought that was a lot better. J Chip Show is saying the voice actress for it, the original Ashley, is voiced by the lady that does Sandy Cheeks and SpongeBob.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Know that. I didn't know at all.
That is awesome.
Whizball Commodore also said hi, like in the live stream. Thanks so much. And then Mitchell said he couldn't stay because he hasn't played the game yet, but he just wanted to stop by and say hi. And I wouldn't. I'd be the same way if I haven't played it yet. I would not be able to, because some of the things that they did change or add were so defining to the game that I can't even go back to playing the original. Like the expansion of the lake, the change in the ending, just different things they did, like, and then the parts that they added in, like it really developed the game more.
Totally. Yeah. The only thing that I was missing that I was really shocked that wasn't there was the U3 boss.
Yes.
That was weird.
That was one of the big mentions in that, and I missed that too, and I was surprised that they took that out.
Yeah, I found that weird because I thought that that boss was, in my opinion, maybe the most difficult in the original game, or one of the most difficult for sure. And not having that boss there, which there's a part of me that kind of gets it, because the entirety of, actually, I want to get your take on this. Which game do you think's harder, the remake or the original?
I think the original, because of the controls, definitely make it harder because you can't move and shoot at the same time. I don't know. I will tell you, I found the VR one the easiest.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That one was definitely easiest, but I'm so far removed from the first one, and I was a different gamer back then. I was just starting out.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to pinpoint it. If I went back and played it, I could have a definitive answer.
I think that the original is like painfully easy compared to the remake. The remake is like, going back to, if you did go back to it, I'd be interested to hear because like it's so predictable what the enemies are gonna do.
Yeah,
it's so unbelievably predictable. And
didn't feel like they moved as fast either. Like, enemies were definitely slower in the original.
They are so slow.
And I say that because I felt like that about the Vertigo. I couldn't get a Vertigo off my ass this time. I was like running around trying to put my scope up to shoot them in those little things in their body so that I could kill them. And I was just like, I couldn't move, especially in that one part where you see them with all the bodies hanging.
Yes.
With all the body bags. And the first one I saw that twitched, I was like, I wonder what this will do. And I had to shoot it down. I had to. And out popped one of them, and I wasn't expecting it. And it was really tight quarters.
I was a little bit bummed in that moment where I wish we could have shot through their cell orby things while they were in the bag. Like if we could have just shot one of them, I thought that would have been kind of cool. Cause like I even went up to like the spot where I thought it would be and tried to shoot it. And then they just drop out the bag and they still have the 3 that you have to shoot. It's like, I don't know. I think that would have been cool to just knock out one. Cool.
What did you do with them in the glass areas? Did you kill them all first?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not even going to wait till that triggers them. because there was something we had to get in there, and I can't remember what it was.
The wrench, right? Where you
Yes,
had
yes,
to, yeah.
yes, yes. I'm like, I'm not even touching, like, I'm gonna get that wrench because it's inside of one of them, but I'm not even touching that box until I kill the rest of them. Because I
Yep.
know as soon as I open that box up, it's gonna trigger the rest of them to come into the glass cases, and then I'm gonna be bombarded with 3. And I didn't want that. And then I don't
Yep.
know what else is coming in at that point either. So I'm like, I'm gonna kill them first. So I shot them all out one at a time, killed them, and then it made it a lot easier because you did have enemies that came after that.
Yeah, I loved using that sniper and having the, you know, the different coloration to
I did
see
too.
exactly where to
Did you
shoot. I
leave it
just,
on for the rest of the game?
yep,
I did too. I
for the
did too.
entire rest of the game.
I
Yep.
was just
Just,
like, it's there. If I need it, then why would I take it off?
yeah, and you could like see, you know, where enemy movement was happening,
Yeah,
and like it was actually just really useful. I
it
just
was
like
really
having.
useful.
You couldn't zoom in 3 times though, whereas you could with the
No, you
other high
couldn't.
power scope.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And you couldn't put both on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I loved that section though. I really once again back to atmosphere.
Mhm.
The I'm horrible with the names of these enemies, but the one that is chasing you when you're trying to wait for the elevator and you're hitting him with the little freeze thing that's coming down from the
Oh.
ceiling, and I forget their name,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah. That guy always gives me a hard time.
yeah,
I
I
don't I
loved
didn't even
that.
kill him. I didn't kill him. I got on the elevator and he was not dead.
Can
I was
you
like,
can
I'm out of here.
I didn't even know you could kill him.
Oh, you can
Oh,
kill him in the first one, can you not?
I have no idea. I just run. I don't even I don't remember in the original, but in the remake, I didn't even fucking try. I was like, hell no, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna run from this scary bastard.
I can't remember what his name is. Like, I thought I had it written down here because he was one of my harder ones. Is that Vertigo?
I don't know. Is Vertigo the one with the celly, fleshy, like little orbs that you're shooting with the sniper? Or is Vertigo the one that's chasing you in that
No, I
section? Hold
think
on.
that's oh, what are they? Somebody will
I'll look
tell us.
I'll look it up real quick. Let's see. Vertigo
I know there's
RE4
ones with the
Remake.
spikes that come out, and
Yeah, yeah.
they're called something different, but
Okay. Yep, you're right. The Vertigo is the one that's down there in that little sewer like section with you that you have to run from and you have to get into the elevator with. So or you have to run away from to get into the elevator. That's
yeah,
the Vertigo one.
yeah. He freaks me out. He was This is the one thing I couldn't figure out, and it's driving me crazy, and I don't know if I just like slept through that part of it or what. So you know when you're down in the sewers and you have those enemies that are invisible. Was there just none or did I miss it? Did I run past it? Did I get out of there before it? What are they called?
Um okay, so you're saying you didn't run into those in the remake?
No, I don't know if I just got out of the sewers really quick and I ran through it.
No, I don't remember running into invisible enemies at all in the remake.
Yeah.
I so yeah, I think that could have been an enemy that was taken out as well. Oh yeah, I do remember what you're talking about now
Like I know those
in
big
the original.
fly things, like they would sometimes I wouldn't see them because they'd be like
Camouflage, yeah.
stone. Yeah, and camouflage. So I'm like, is that what they replaced that with? I got confused. I'm like, did I skip past that? Like, did I run too fast through the sewers? Because every time I play that game, that one part in the sewers always freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I think the
Yeah.
atmosphere, the tension there is really, really solid. It's I kind of want to go back and play through the original again because my memory is not super fresh on it, other than the first whatever 3 4 hours that I just played.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, like I don't know if I ever will again with this remake existing. Where you
I
know Final
know.
Fantasy, we talked about this earlier. Final Fantasy VII, the original, it's like okay, that's a turn-based game. The new one's an action game, so there's reason to
Exactly.
play both. The RE2 from '98, that's a tank-based controlling game. The new one's an action adventure game. So there's like reason to play both. With RE4 the remake and RE4 the original, the remake's just like overall improved version of it. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know how I would ever get in the headspace to go back to it because I don't have that like real built-in nostalgia for that game. I love it, but it's not like real built-in nostalgia.
Yeah. Like the stuff that they took out and the stuff they put in was so good that it didn't, like, there would be no reason to go back to the original. So I made a little bit of a list because I knew I would forget something if I didn't write it all down. So what they added was knife parrying was obviously a big deal. And then the gems for trading, the crafting, the side quests, which I mean can be hit or miss depending on what you want in a game. The bolt thrower, which for me was a throwaway. I sold that to the merchant. I'm like, here you go, give me some money. I don't want that thing. The sneaking and the sneaking through combat, like being able to sneak up on an enemy. And then we did get the brute. That was a new enemy. That was the god.
The sledgehammer guy, the
Yeah.
big ass. Okay.
Yeah. And then we got the lake. The lake expanded area was so much better because before it was just like, well, I did this and now we're done.
Yeah.
It felt like they were like, what can we put right here to connect these two areas? Let's put a lake. What will we put in the lake? Let's put that big monster. Okay, we did it. And then it just didn't feel like a big enough part of the story. Where this time at least you had some places to visit on the lake and collect some stuff. But they took away the laser hallway, Salazar statue escape, and that instant death with the boulder at the first. Now there is a spot where you have to kind of try to jump out of the way, but it doesn't kill you. It just takes your health down. And that was a lot of those were all QTEs too. So I feel like that's why they took them away, right?
Yeah.
And then healing Ashley, which was a plus for everybody. The less weird sexual innuendos. The U3 boss, like you said, to a certain degree, it was missed, but at the same time, you could see why they took it out. Ashley's bulldozer moment was gone, where they drive the bulldozer and they have to put it through the wall in the first one. Well, now she's doing a wrecking ball to take out that wall. So that kind of got replaced by that. And then no cable car battle. They didn't have the cable car battle in the within the original. They didn't have one here. And then the incendiary grenades, which I didn't really miss because I don't know, I had so much fun shooting stuff.
Yeah, that's really in terms of big changes that were improvements for me, having the storage where you could just buy a weapon and then put it off into the storage. I loved that. I loved having, like we said, the multiple slots for your guns. Like those were some really crucial. I want to know, did you use the stealth at all?
Maybe a handful of times. And I enjoy stealth, but I was having so much fun shooting everything that I just didn't want to. Like my more stealth way of playing was to go into to an area, and before I would drop down into it, I'd try to see how many guys I could take out. And that's not really stealth, but it was, it made it a little bit easier when you would drop down into the area, you took out a couple of guys. I don't know. I might have snuck up on a few, but I just didn't use it a whole lot.
Yeah, I used it a good amount, but every time I used it, I was like, this doesn't really feel like the way I want to be playing this game at all. Like it didn't even feel as good. It definitely. Oh yeah. Okay.
It's just so much more fun to get down in the trenches with it. Like, you know what I mean?
I have one I want to save for a second, but I would say I don't think it feels as good as The Evil Within, and I definitely don't think it feels as good as The Last of Us, which is we began talking about this earlier. So
yes,
I want to, you were saying that The Last of Us is like your GOAT, right?
I'm a huge Last of Us fangirl. Like, I had to watch the show. Scott doesn't know it right yet, but I watched the behind the scenes stuff when he was sleeping today. So I don't know if he's going to be pissed off that I watched that, like the making of The Last of Us. Dennis and Scott might be like, you're not friends with us anymore. But I'm a huge Last of Us fan.
So I'm going to tell you why I don't think that Resident Evil 4 is on the level of The Last of Us for me. You care so deeply about Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yes.
I could not give two fucks less about Ashley. Two fucks less. And as much as they improved her, I agree. Big improvements across the board. She's much more likable. The Leon
Yes.
shit's gone. The weird screeching, like she's much more likable.
Leon!
It's so annoying, but
It is.
I don't care about her at all. They develop no real like character arc for Ashley
Actually, they really don't.
no. So like to me, and of course, you can say, okay, well, the gameplay's a little bit better in Resident Evil 4 the remake, and I think I would probably agree with that. At least
Yeah.
the shooting, the fun of it, just the overall fun. It's hard to top RE4
It is.
the remake's gameplay. But I think in terms of overall like character development and fucking world building and the amount of lore that was thought out for The Last of Us and you know how all of this came to be and like it's just The Last of Us is hard to fucking top. And if you're and you can't objectively analyze art, but if you did have to sit someone down and they had to do as close to an objective analysis of these two games as possible, I love Resident Evil 4 Remake, and I might even say personally for me, I might enjoy it more, but The Last of Us is
Oh, it wins you over with story every time.
yeah.
It's just it's got such a killer story. Like nobody's gonna make a Resident Evil 4 show on HBO. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen.
Well, they actually might, but it's not going to be great.
It's not gonna be The Last of Us. Like it's just not. And you're right. I'm telling you right now, if there was no consequence for them taking Ashley, I'd be like, okay, take her.
Every time.
I really don't care.
I wouldn't
take her.
I would never do that in The Last of Us. I would literally
you would
like,
save Ellie every time. Yes.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
And the reverse too. If you're Ellie, you're saving Joel every time.
Every time. And another thing, I don't think The Last of Us gets nearly enough credit for how damn good the shooting is and how amazing the stealth is.
Oh my god.
Fucking amazing.
Well, that's why. That's why I'm like Resident Evil 4 was not built to be like they did add stealth elements, but that's not why I played it. Like I enjoyed doing the stealth in The Last of Us.
Totally.
So it was it's so hard to compare them. They're great games, but they're in a completely different category.
Yeah. I love RE4 Remake, and like I said, I might like it personally more than The Last of Us, maybe, but The Last of Us is something else, dude. That's like the finest of wine, man. That shit's incredible.
Yeah, it really, really is. A couple of people are talking in the chat here. Patty the Collector just finished the game last weekend and starting the professional run.
Oh, there we go.
I have to ask you, what level did you play on? Not that it matters. I'm just curious.
Me or?
Yeah.
Oh, standard. Just the.
Yeah, that's why I went with too. Although I did, to my detriment, put on auto aim, which I swear only made the game harder. I should have turned it off because every time I wanted to shoot a barrel, it kept pointing to the enemy, and I was like, fuck off, I want to shoot the barrel. So the auto aim, honestly, sometimes made it worse.
I could see how that might be
and there were so many barrels.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's so fun. And I didn't get to shoot nearly enough of them because they kept making me shoot the bad guy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to blow shit up.
I would literally just try, like, I would just be running in circles with a big horde of these idiots chasing me, and I would just lure them straight to a barrel. Pop.
It's so much fun.
Limb dismemberment. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by some of the limb dismemberment here. I gotta say. And the remake of 2, that shit was excellent. And like you could literally just snipe at a leg and see the flesh peel apart from the fucking bone. It was so gross.
And it's funny you mentioned that because so many people are talking about that too. From what I read, they were underwhelmed. Yes, they were underwhelmed with the limb dismemberment. We're just a bunch of fucking psychopaths playing games. Like, why can't we have some more limb dismemberment, please?
Dude, it was incredible in the remake of 2. And I was like, shooting an enemy in the arm a little bit just to see if I could snap it from the elbow like a sicko that I am. And I'm like, nothing's really going on there. But in those moments of the shooting the barrel and you see him just like getting damn decapitated or cut from the waist down and the one part
So
goes flying
satisfying.
over here. So satisfying. So satisfying.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Fuck. I wish they would have had more of that in there for sure. Just gonna get to a couple more of these. Leon and Krauser stuff is a bit more touched upon in RE Dark Side Chronicles for the Wii. I haven't played that. There's so many Resident Evil games I haven't played that I really need to get to. So
I never
hard.
owned a Wii.
No, you know the one I really want to play on the Wii is the oh, where is it? I'm trying to look around my room here. Shattered. No, that's sorry. Is there one I want to play on the Wii that, or am I thinking Silent Hill?
Shattered Memories?
Yeah, never mind. I'm thinking Silent Hill, guys.
Yeah.
That one I do. Jay is saying, hey guys, Jay Bartlett, anybody excited for the expansion tomorrow? So is that the Mercenary expansion?
Yeah, that's not really my thing. I know, like, I'm a single player dude. I get off from work and I just want to kind of tune out the entire world and dive into
So I don't know too much about the immerse. I heard about it. I haven't looked into it because I was so like immersed in playing through the game, and then as soon as I play one game, I move on to the next game. So I didn't even think about the DLC. But is it like more of an online?
I thought so. I could be wrong. I thought Mercenaries was a co-op thing, but like I said, I never dove into it.
But is it a couch co-op thing? Because couch co-op I can get into, but if I gotta play it online with somebody, that's not my jam either.
Let's see. I'll just.
Oh, Sam! Hey, how's it going? We got Sam on too.
Let's RE4 Mercenaries.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Let's see.
Sam, I know you're tuning in because you love survival horror games. She does not. No.
Okay, completed by. Can you just tell me if the damn thing is multiplayer?
Yeah, I don't know if it. I heard about it, and I wonder if they're going to do Ada's campaign or Ada's part from Resident Evil 4, the original, but I didn't play it like you. I didn't dive into it.
So it's saying here the objective of the game is to kill enemies to earn points before the evacuation chopper arrives in the allotted time. Killing a normal enemy earns the player 300 points, while, well, page just reloaded. While boss enemies can earn several thousand points. A crucial part of the game is to kill as many enemies as possible in a row, which is necessary to have high scores. There are also extension pickups to give players. That doesn't really sound like co-op. That just it says one player only here on this.
Oh, so it's just like a see how many points you can get kind of deal.
Yeah, it just sounds like
leaderboard
a kind
stuff.
Leaderboard style thing.
Yeah,
I have no idea, man.
I could see how people would enjoy it, but yeah, Mercenaries mode is essentially kill all the enemies within a time limit. Yeah, okay. I'm not a big time limit person. Yeah, I could see how people would enjoy it, but I don't know that it'll be something. I might try it just to say I did try it, but I wouldn't be in any rush. Yeah, I've had too much time limit shit with Devil's Island to ever deal with time limits again.
Yeah, I don't really
crazy. Not even the same kind of game, but
yeah, I don't really have a ton of interest in that. I really, and I know it's silly, but like I really do like jumping into the Resident Evil games and seeing whatever story they're gonna throw at me and trying to read all the damn files and like I'm a sucker for the lore of Resident Evil. And like we talked about, Resident Evil 4 doesn't have my favorite lore ever, but I still just kind of like sinking into it and seeing what they're gonna throw at me. But I don't know, I nothing against trying the little Mercenaries thing.
Oh no, definitely not.
I'm pumped for the Ada DLC.
Yes. Are they making that, or is that going to be a part of this?
Yeah, because she said at the end, I think it's time. It's time we go our separate ways, and the name of the DLC is Separate Ways. So I think that without a doubt, I think we'll get it. I am very curious to see if there's any big tone changes or how her character. Like I'm curious to see if the voice acting differs at all. But I really, like I said, I never played the DLC in RE4 originally, so I'm really do want to dive into that. Like I'm absolutely
Yeah.
gonna check that out when that drops.
I kind of wonder if they have. I don't, because I didn't play it in any capacity on the original. I don't know if it's on the VR. I just kind of, I'm more of a mainline story player. I very rarely play a DLC. And
Same.
then sometimes when I play it, I'm like, oh, that was disappointing. Like The Last of Us, I fucking hated that DLC. I
Yeah.
don't know. I was excited to get more Last of Us after The Last of Us, but I was like, yeah, I could have. No, that was not as good as I wanted it to be. I was like, they just threw us extra content for the sake of throwing extra content.
Yeah.
It didn't add anything.
I'm with you. I just I like a main game, you know, chewing on the story that they're giving us for a main game and then kind of bouncing off. But I will say that a part of me kind of feels stupid for not just taking whatever content. Like if you like the game, dive into, you know, more of it. There's nothing.
Yeah,
There's a part of me where I'm like, I always want to jump to something new, like the fucking
I'm the same.
Pavlovian response. I want to be here. I want to be there. And I'm gonna try to tone that down, like with you know the Separate Ways DLC. I'm definitely gonna play that. I played the Resident Evil 8 DLC. I'm gonna play the Horizon
Yes.
DLC.
How was the Resident? Because I have yet to play through Resident Evil 8, so I really want to. And I think you really liked the DLC, did you not?
I thought the DLC was okay. I loved the main game. I
Okay.
loved RE8 the main game. I thought that was fucking excellent. Probably my fifth favorite or fourth favorite Resident Evil game. But the DLC was just okay. I was so ready to never see fucking Ethan Winters or yeah ever
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I get that. J Chep wants to know favorite Resident Evil 4 remake puzzle.
Well, I like that they in my opinion that church puzzle was so much easier in the
Yeah,
remake.
it
I
was.
struggled with it in the original, man.
I did too. I did too.
I like
Um,
that one.
I liked the one with the dogs in the courtyard when you had
Yeah,
to go get lower all the flags because of the tension. The
yeah.
tension made that puzzle really really good. Um, the puzzles were
S-
so easy that they were almost not forgettable in a bad way, but
I
they
agree.
sometimes when I struggle with a puzzle, I'll remember it because I struggled,
Yeah,
and then it won't be a positive. So the puzzles were actually positives, or the one with the El Gigante trying to get around to get where you need it to get to get them. I don't know if you would consider that a puzzle, kind of, because you're having to go around. But yeah, none of them were so hard that I was like, oh fuck, I'm playing this day one. There's no way I can look this up. I just did it.
yeah.
And I was like, that was awesome.
I really like puzzles that involve like game mechanics that you've learned throughout the course of the game. Like
Yeah.
the updated Tomb Raider games, I think have some of my favorite puzzles ever. They're
Yeah.
so good. Some of them are so good. And I really that's the part of the U3 mission that I miss the most. That boss fight where you're shooting the thing that opens the doors up and you're having
Yeah.
to think about exactly where to go and what did I loved how it's like, okay, it's tied in straight to the mechanics and you are experiencing all of this through
Mhm.
gameplay but you're still having to put your thinking cap on of where to go, what to shoot, what door is that opening up, oh shit, now I'm trapped by this U3 thing right in my face. Like I thought that was an excellent kind of in-game puzzle that I would have loved to have seen that in the remake. So
Yeah. But
but
the puzzles that were in there, they weren't like you had to get the swords to open the door. I was looking around at first. I'm like, what the hell do I have to do? And then I realized I had to shoot through like a medallion somewhere, like on the door. Like it wasn't. They weren't hard. Which was probably a good thing because I didn't want it to take me out of the combat for too long.
right.
Yeah, but they were well paced enough and just yeah that they weren't super memorable, but in a good way.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. It's I
Oh, the
think
dining room table puzzle. You get the snake head.
that's
That
the
was
best one. That's the
yeah,
best one. That shit
yeah.
rules.
Yeah, I really liked that one too. But it wasn't hard.
Oh, it's super simple.
You can figure it out right away. You're like, this is different. Why is this different? And then you
Yep.
start looking around and you're like, oh, that's why that's different.
It was really, really creepy though, and I loved that. Like,
I
why?
did too.
Why are these subtle differences? Or why are they so specific? And what's the kind of tie to all this? I thought that was intriguing.
Yeah, it definitely was. I found the castle. David's saying I found the castle secret treasure puzzles satisfying.
Um, yeah. Oh, you're talking about when you put the cube into the thing, and okay, that was fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Yeah. Now
that
I
was
know
fun.
I was trying to figure it out too. That hamster was just running. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get this, what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But yeah, that one was fun.
And like really rewarding, like you got shit that was actually pretty useful
Yeah.
with that. So yeah, I did. I dug that a lot. That actually might be in terms of like lining it up and having the specifics nailed down, and wanting to get that slot perfectly placed. Like I that might
Yeah.
actually be my favorite.
Yeah, that one was really, really good. I agree.
Yeah.
Do you have it? Do you have a cat?
Yeah, I was about to
I
say, I
was like,
apologize if you hear
no,
the cat in
don't
the background.
apologize because I was like, Teddy was whining upstairs at one point. I was wondering if my cat was stuck somewhere. That's why I asked. It doesn't bother me in the least.
Yeah, no,
Teddy was like pretty interrupty when we were on we did a stream with Denver Gamer. He was like trying to jump up on my lap, and that's why he's not down here right now, because he would be like right here across
yeah.
me and sleeping and snoring and farting. Luckily, there's not smell-o-vision because it would be pretty damn bad.
Yeah, I got her locked out. I'm wondering if I should just open it
Just
up. I
let
don't
her
want
in. Yeah.
her
If she jumps
all
up,
over
then
the
she'll
damn
just make an
place.
appearance.
She'll be all right for now.
Okay. I know we touched on this a bit, and I hated the TMP. So did you have, like, I had a perfect 3. I had a set of 3 things, and this is going to make me sound like an old person that doesn't know how to move along with the times, because I played the whole damn game with the Punisher pistol because I upgraded it, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to use it. Was it the best pistol? No, but I upgraded it.
Yeah.
Same thing with the rifle. I used the SRM 1903, which was the first rifle you got in Chapter 2. Same thing with, like, everything I got in Chapter 2 pretty much, and I used it right through the entire game. And I just upgraded it, and I stuck with it like a trooper.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The shotgun, I would consistently just go to like the highest powered, most updated version, whichever one was like the last one available. I just figured that would be the best one.
Yeah.
And that was like the one thing where I was like, I'll change this anytime you give me a new one. I'm gonna go and grab a new shotgun, because I just felt like that was like when it came down to crunch time needing a weapon, that was the weapon I would just go to immediately. Like, let me grab my damn shotgun. Yeah.
I think I'm like that with almost any game too. I love a good shotgun.
They're the best.
And I wanted that bolt thrower to be more like yes, it is a crossbow, but I don't know. I do like a good bow or like a crossbow, but that thing I just didn't have a whole lot of love for it, and I traded it to the mercenary or the merchant for coin.
Yeah,
like, just give me money.
The only time I found it like just incredibly useful was for the Salazar fight.
Yeah.
Whenever I figured that out, I was like, yeah, this is fucking for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use this for every single playthrough I do, because that fight was just really, really tough until I found that little workaround. And as soon as I figured
wish
that
I would have known that.
Yeah, I was like, oh dude, this is because I like I said, I really went with just the shotgun. I just kept the bolt thrower. I never sold it, thankfully, but I didn't use it all that often. So, and then in that moment, I was like, oh, well, I do have these attachable mines just kind of sitting in my inventory. Let me just try this. And immediately it was, I mean, 5 minutes max. The boss fight lasted. And before
it took me forever.
It took me forever before too. And I don't know if you're like this, but I'll go back to my last autosave if I don't feel like I did something efficiently enough or whatever. And I'll just reboot it up again, because I don't want to lose the resources. I don't want to lose the ammo.
I will sometimes too, depending on how much trouble I had. If I think I could do it better and I could get back some resources, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely,
would do
because you
that a
just
lot.
don't know what's coming up next and what you'll need. So sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah, I just that final fight, I do I don't know if it was just because I was so stacked with resources. I
Mhm.
do kind of wish that was a little bit more difficult, which thankfully, you obviously you have the difficulties for that reason, but
Yeah.
that final boss fight, I was like, that's pretty simple.
I always found that even in the original, I always found that final boss fight easier than I did. I always had more trouble with Krauser.
Yeah.
I always found that boss fight harder than with Salazar because it's just I don't know. There's so much space to get away from him.
Yeah. So
But I played it differently this time than I would play in the original. I had so many resources and so much health that I was like, why am I wasting bullets? I'm going to get up close to this guy, and as long as I can like L1 and get out of his like way, I'm good.
yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to read a couple things in the comments here. So Patty says, I use the R9, the Striker, and high-powered sniper rifle. That R9, and I think I used the Killer 7 too a bit. Yeah, definitely a good combination. I think you said you used the Red 9 a lot too.
Yeah, the red 9 was my go-to for the pistols. I love
Yeah.
I the straight up standard handgun is a-okay for me though. I love just upgrading the straight up standard handgun. The Punisher, that was the one that did like the extra penetration damage, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
why I ended up keeping it because I was like, I liked that aspect of it. And I had upgraded it so far that it felt like I'd be wasting money, like not keeping it,
Yeah.
which is so stupid. But I couldn't get outside my own head. I was like, I gotta keep it.
The speaking to the Salazar and Sadler, I the family dynamics between those two I found really interesting in the
Yes.
remake,
Yeah.
where like they had this feud going on that I didn't know about before,
Yeah.
where like Sadler, I believe, was trying to bring over, or the Sadler family was trying to use Las Plagas and create this thing. And then at first it seemed like the Salazar family wasn't too keen on that idea. And then obviously by when you fight Salazar, he's totally fucking gone with
Oh yeah.
Las Plagas. But yeah,
Completely.
I found that like kind of if that could have been in the original, I have no idea, but I found
I
that
can't remember either. That's the
I,
problem.
that little detail, I was just like, so they had
Yeah.
beef before, and now for whatever reason, Salazar or Ramon Salazar,
Yep.
which is something I don't even remember him being called Ramon Salazar
I
in the
don't either.
original game. But I wonder if it is because they introduced more of the family members, so we have to refer to this version of Salazar as something differently because they're implying some lore tidbits of
Yeah.
the original Salazar family weren't too on board with Sadler's plan for Las Plagas.
Yeah.
Like I said, that
It
I
could
like
be.
getting into the weeds of this fucking shit, and it could all be silly, nonsensical bullshit. But I don't know. I found that interesting.
I enjoy getting into the weeds of it. That's I don't often retain a lot of that stuff, so that's why I did a lot of like reading today because I don't know if it's my ADHD brain, but I will even when I read a book, when I consume any sort of media, I get the big picture plot lines and all that. And then my sister-in-law will come along and she'll like quote a line from a movie and I'm like, "What movie?" And she's like, "Oh my God, it's like the best line in the movie." I'm like, "Could you tell me what movie?" Like, I don't remember that stuff. I don't remember. So that's why today I went and looked a lot of stuff up and I was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I remember that now." But I'll easily move on really quickly.
Resident Evil is one of the weird ones for me where I'm
Yeah.
like it's stupid. I'm not saying, look, there's people out there who have way more Resident Evil knowledge than me, like the
Mhm.
Residents of Evil people, and there's a bunch of podcasts and different stuff you can follow where they really know what the hell they're talking about. For me, like I really do get into it, but like you said, it's a lot to keep up with. Who
It
developed
is.
the G virus? Who developed the T virus? What happened when this damn
Yeah.
cat get out?
I want to play this game.
And she always, I caught her in here one day going for damn Silent Hill, Shattered Memories. I'm like, out of all of them, you're gonna pick the fucking the $200 game? Come
Really
on, Black
though.
Cat.
Get out of there, cat.
Chill out, you're good.
Yeah, I tend to get into lore from things I enjoy. Like I enjoy zombie games and stuff like that. So it'll easily stay in my mind a little bit longer than typically a fantasy type game would, because it's just not where my love is. Like I
Yeah,
love all things horror, especially zombies. So I'll tend to retain that information more.
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's what it is for me a
It,
lot of the time.
with something as like just straight up compelling as The Last of Us, like it's hard not to deep dive into that lore.
Yeah.
And you know, that's that The Last of Us is kind of like the top one for me, but Resident Evil's definitely up there. Let me
Oh yeah.
get this damn cat real quick. I'll be
Yeah, no worries.
Golly, get from behind there. Come on. Come on. What you doing?
Make a 10 final boss that were too easy or that were a letdown video. Oh, that would be a fun video. See, in this game, I know that, technically your final boss is Sadler, but I always found the fucking jet ski at the end way harder than anything else. I don't know why, and I'm going to wait till Brandon comes back because I want to get his take on this too. Funny thing, I just picked up the Itchy Tasty, which is a fan-made book covering the history of Resident Evil. Ooh, that would be really good to have, because if somebody could break it down for me and make it digestible in a book that could like timeline it out and make it easier to read, I think I would have a much easier time with that, because I will get lost with the jumping back and forth or trying to figure out what came when and who did what. If it's like all laid out for me, it's so much easier. So much easier. Oh, hey Dean. Hey Jen, just finished watching your video on Adventureland. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm ever really going to beat that game, but I completed it, so I saw the end. You haven't played Okay, I still haven't played RE4. Are we talking remake or Resident Evil 4 in general? So good. But I know there is a lot of people that are big fans of the first three that do not like the fourth one. So I wonder if we've won anybody over with the remake. What I was just saying was people who love Resident Evil 1 through 3 don't always love Resident Evil 4. And I wonder if anybody could be won over with the remake because of the quality of life changes.
I don't think so. I think, I mean,
story issue.
No, I think it's just an action issue. I think the only reason to me, it wouldn't make sense to not like Resident Evil 4 from the get-go, even the original, unless it was because you loved the straight up survival horror of, 1 through 3, which, to be fair, 3 was pretty fucking actiony at the time.
Yeah.
Like people don't really give enough people always talk about RE4 being the downfall of the series for like it turning into more of an action focused series. And it's like, damn, dude, 3 is a lot of action, like a ton of action. So I don't know. I've never really been on the team because the originals are my favorite. Like I love RE2, the original, more than any game ever. So like I have a fondness for those tank based old school controls and all that. But I don't know. I think RE4 gets a little bit too much flack for kind of beginning the turn to action. I think Capcom was going that way regardless.
Yeah, probably. I know that RE4 defined a lot of games to come with the camera angle and stuff and how they changed things. But I think if you're just diehard for those first three, I could see how you would be like, okay, this is way too different for me. But I really enjoyed it, but I didn't have a nostalgia for the first three. So it didn't factor in. I was like, I'm playing another Resident Evil game. Oh, cool. It's doing this. Like it didn't affect me.
Yeah. Well, and like the important thing I think to always keep in the back of your mind for Resident Evil 4 for like the old school fans of the original is like as much as I'm saying I don't think that RE4 the original holds up after you finish playing the remake, it's like
Mm-hmm.
to me it just doesn't at all. But
It doesn't.
the original was so innovative, important, and really changed the landscape for third person shooters in general.
Oh yeah.
RE4 the original is a much more important game than RE4 the remake. I think
Yeah.
that's unquestionable.
Oh yeah.
But
Without it, you would not have the remake either. So
exactly, but quality's quality, man. And I
yeah,
just
I
I
agree.
yeah, I can't yeah. Resident Evil 4 the remake is fucking top tier quality.
It's so good. It's so good. A couple people are saying that my buddy loves the remake and actually loves the new one too, but still prefers OG. And Jay Chip Show is wondering, do you think they're really going to make RE5 remake RE5? The ending of the game honestly leads into that being the case. That's what
Yeah.
we're thinking too.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit if you're cool
Yeah,
with that. Okay.
absolutely.
So I wrote down what I think they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I want them to do, but this is what I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna go RE1, the next remake, 9, Resident Evil 9,
Mm-hmm.
then Code Veronica, then Resident Evil 5. Because if you look at what their track record has been in terms of length from time of release for the original versus remake,
Mm-hmm.
98 for RE2 to 2019, 2005 to 2023. Would you really go to 2009 to 2025? Like that seems like,
Yeah.
because if you did RE1 and that drops in say 2025, RE what did I say? Code Veronica or
Yes.
RE9, after that RE9 say that's 2026, Code Veronica 2027, and then you get to RE5 remake, you're looking at 2028ish or
Yeah.
so, and then you're talking about a
And
20-year
that's a
gap,
big
and
leap. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's like that's totally justifiable. And RE4 or RE5 the original, you couldn't move and shoot, which Dead
No, you
Space,
couldn't.
yeah, Dead Space
Yeah.
came out before RE5, I believe. And
Yeah.
yeah. So it needs a remake, but
It
I
definitely needs a remake.
yeah.
I just wonder if there's enough love for it there because it's a real mixed bag with RE5 and RE6. It's a real mixed bag, but maybe that would bring people over who didn't love it that are hoping that they can remake it and make it better. I
You
don't
know
know.
what? I agree. You know what's weird about kind of the revisionist history around RE5 and RE6 is if you go look at the original reviews from the IGNs and GameSpots and all that,
Mhm.
like they all praised RE5 and RE6 initially. I shouldn't say
Yeah,
RE6, but they
but
like
5, yeah.
yeah, even RE6 to some extent, where I think it was at like a 80 on Metacritic before the PS4 version came out of the remaster.
Oh,
And then it's like the revisionist history kind of mixes things up, and it's like I don't know. I don't think. Look, I'm not a fan of RE5. I couldn't even finish it. The only like I've
yeah.
played most of the spin-offs, the Revelations, the Code Veronicas, the Dead Aims, the Survivors. Like I love all that shit. I did
Mhm.
not like RE5, but it's still. I do think that it's probably a good enough game, and I think RE6 is a good enough game. I think there's just a lot of revisionist history around both of those
Yes.
titles, unfortunately.
Alex and Scott played both of them, and Alex especially with 6. I'm sure if we pulled stuff off the Nest Cam because they didn't play it all that long ago, he said a lot. I don't understand why people hate this game. I don't understand why people hate this game. They had a lot of fun, and that was the first time Scott actually played through Ada's campaign because he's played the game now, I think, 3 times and never played Ada's campaign because he always thought it was single player and he always played it co-op. And we didn't realize that you get just some blue shirt guy, you know, as your secondary character. So what they would do was just switch back and forth every now and again. That you get to a new spot and like, okay, now you be Ada and I'll be the other guy. And they didn't know it was co-op until this very first time. They thought that he thought it was a single player experience.
Yeah. This is just me. I think Resident Evil 6 has like, it's a wonky story, but I think it shines a light on those characters and pays more attention, or it pays respect a little bit more to those characters in terms of giving them like fully fleshed out cinematic storylines and real like deep interaction between Chris and Leon, and a lot of plot lines like with Wesker's son and shit like that. Like there's some interesting stuff in Resident Evil 6 that, and it's a ton of content. You're talking about,
oh my god, yes, and the crossing over storylines, like that's really cool. I want to play the rest of it. It's just, like I said, so many games and not enough time. So I'll get around to it eventually, but it was one that when I was playing it, I was really enjoying what I played so far. So, and if I can I played through Resident Evil 5 and actually had a good time co-op, I know I'm going to enjoy the rest of Resident Evil 6 even more because I was enjoying the hell out of it, what I did play.
And moving and shooting is in Resident Evil 6. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's the greatest game ever, but it does not get nearly enough appreciation for
it. Really doesn't.
Yeah,
it really doesn't. J-Chep felt like the opposite. He really loved RE5 and RE6 was all right. And I think a lot of people, I wouldn't be surprised that a lot of people feel that way too.
Yeah.
What Resident Evil game would be the best for someone new to the franchise? Don't start with 1.
2 remake.
Yeah, 2 remake is close enough, is really, really close enough to the original that you can appreciate it. Resident Evil 3, they left out some stuff, but I think it's still a good remake.
You know what? I think I might go 4 remake because of the unconnected story to the T-virus. Like there's really no association with other than playing as Leon, and he briefly explains what happens in Resident Evil 2, but like the T-virus and G-virus barely even get brought up, and those are like the big kind of plot lines for the original 3 games. So I think maybe 4 because it's an entirely new virus, it's an entirely new cast of characters and villains. Like you only see Wesker at the end, spoilers, but
yeah. For Sam in particular too, not 7 Sam. she's still trying to cut her teeth on some survival horror, and that game is like, I love survival horror and I'm still trying to get the gumption to play it. Like I will one of these days, but there will be lights on in the basement. That shit is terrifying.
Well, I mean, to take her question at face value, what Resident Evil game would be the best for someone new to the franchise? Like if you are not looking to get into, if you're okay with straight up horror, I think 7's actually a great answer too.
I would, but for Sam in particular, that's why I was saying I wouldn't go there. I think she's got to get a bit of a desensitize yourself a little bit before you jump into that one, for you specifically, because you're not like, it's a lot.
I'd say skip 2 then as well and just go to 4 because
4
2
is really
dark.
Good. 2 is dark. Yeah, it's but I love 2 so much. I love it.
Good.
You can make this portion of the video YouTube short.
Yeah, no, I would say 4. If someone, if you, okay, well, here would be my obvious recommendations.
Yeah.
If you played PlayStation 1 games and have a nostalgia for that style of game, then the remake from 2002, Resident Evil 1 remake, and then just go through it in order. But I would say, okay, so here's my overall recommendation. if you have nostalgia for original PlayStation games, RE remake, the first remake, and then just jump straight into RE2 remake, RE3 remake,
Yeah.
RE4 remake, and then honestly, RE5 and RE6 still hold up pretty well.
Yeah.
RE5 not so much with the not being able to move and shoot, but other than that,
Exactly.
it holds up pretty well mechanically. So that would be the main line path. And then if you wanted to spin off into the Revelations and Code Veronicas and stuff like that after, then do that. But I think the main path gets you caught up well enough without.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dead inside, but a scaredy cat. And then Retro Tiburon saying the same thing. 7 is scary as hell. I missed the night that Dennis jumped off the chair. I was sleeping, they were still up playing, and I missed him like hovering off the chair. It scared him so much. So I just hear that shit and I'm like, I can't. I'll eventually do it. Scott's idea is that so we have 2 friends that come over to play games with us, and he thinks us 3 girls should play it, passing the controller back and forth. And oh my god. Oh, I know where the scary parts are. Like the whole fucking game is scary. Pause. The whole game is scary. But maybe I would have to let them start it out because pretty early on, even into the game, like it's getting tense. So I'd have to let them start, and then I would be stuck with the craziness.
I feel like I have more of an appreciation for 7 than I do an enjoyment of it. I like it a lot. I really do. But it's never one like I think I've replayed it twice. And with Resident Evil games, which replaying a game for me in general is like a praise of the quality of the game if I ever want to replay anything. But 7 is just one that I hate the mold so much. I don't understand why I'm shooting fucking mold. I get it in terms of the context of the story, but like that is a horrible enemy to me. I whenever I first saw the lichens and the werewolves and shit in RE8, I was like, oh yes. There we go. But yeah, no, 7 is a great. I'm so appreciative that it got Resident Evil away from 5 and 6 and back into real Resident Evil.
Yes. And I think in order to have eventually, if you get around to playing 8 and to have a good appreciation for it, it's almost key to play RE4 and RE7 because it's like a blend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually a really good point. It is.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Because I don't think Scott appreciated 8 as much as he could have had he played 4 because he was like, I don't care about that. I want it to be scarier. And I'm like, yeah, but they're pulling a lot from 4. Like, with the merchant, like the new guy, that's the new merchant. And I was so excited to see him, and he just didn't appreciate it as much. And I was like, you need to play 4. That I said that to him so many times when he was playing. I'm like, you need to play 4. You should have played 4 first. But we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know until you play it.
Scott would love this version of 4 with like
I know he would. I know he would, because he's not a sneak around guy, and you don't have to be to play this game. Like he likes getting in the trenches and just like going at it, and he would really, I've said it to him so many times that I think he's probably going to play it this year, and I hope he does.
But you have autosave too, so you can fuck around and try a bunch of different things. Like it's just such a great remake.
It is such a great remake. I am surprised we haven't talked about this yet because we've mentioned him so many times. What did you think of the merchant?
So I don't know what the opinion is out there, but like I didn't notice a humongous difference. Okay, cool. Because like I knew that they recasted him and it was a new person doing the voice, and of course there's a little fluctuation. There's some sort of difference in the voice, but it was hard for me to really pick it up and pop it in and hearing what are you buying, what are you selling, it's just as nostalgic, and it felt great to hear that just like it did in the original.
Well, I'll tell you, the people that don't like the merchant,
there's people that don't like him.
There's people that don't like him. Don't like the voice acting, and I was like, but he sounds like the merchant to me. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. There wasn't that disconnect there for me. I thought it sounded like the merchant, and they thought he was too chatty.
Really?
I was so excited anytime he would talk to me. Every time he said, gun rhymes with fun, I was like, hell yeah, gun rhymes with fun. Like, I loved that line.
Yep.
I don't
That
know.
it
I liked it.
I just love the merchant.
I do too.
I don't really have a bone to pick with either version. I think they're both such a well. Every time you see the purple flame and like
Yeah,
you're just so hyped to go and
I
buy some new
know.
shit.
And there
I
was so many, he was so many places. Sometimes I felt like it was a long time between seeing him in the original. And I felt like he was like, after every big fight, big boss fight, or after every like overwhelming amount of enemies, you could almost guarantee the merchant wasn't too far.
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure. And we talked about it earlier, but like a lot of the improvements of the game kind of do blend in with some of the interaction with the merchant, like you said, with the being able to place the rubies and the gold diamonds
Yep.
into those whatever they call it, what are those things? Like the, you'll get the elegant mask and you can
Yeah.
place the I don't even know what you would call the
I don't even know what I
overarching.
want to call them jewelry, but that's not right. Because some
I
of
guess
it
it
was
is.
jewelry. Yeah, but others of it was like, I don't know, I don't know, some fucking 2,000-year-old vase that you had to put. Oh, look, there's a ruby. I wonder
Yeah.
if that goes in there. Yeah.
But
People are
having
saying here that the merchant was cool too, and I agree.
yeah, I don't like I do get very I try as much as I can to stay off the internet, but when I do pop on the internet and I see a complaint about something like the merchant, I'm like, okay, time to log off for the day. I don't
Yeah.
like I'm not saying anyone can have complaints about I don't give a fuck, but like I
Yep.
don't understand how such a small part of the game could even like I could never send out a tweet complaining about something so minuscule.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with my thoughts about, the dogs and Ada's voice. Did it affect my overall gameplay? No, I still had a great time. And I don't make decisions on how games are made. I just know at the end of the day, did I like it or did I not like it? It's not worth really like, I'm gonna write a letter and then I'm gonna list all the things I hate, and hate's a strong word. Like,
Yeah.
there was just some, I was like, yeah. But Ada's voice at the same time, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, but then I just kind of got over it and I moved on with my day, and it just was what it was. I couldn't change
Totally.
it. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
didn't affect my game.
Yeah, and let me be clear. I don't if someone complains about something, like I really don't give a shit. It's just like
Yeah.
the magnitude of that character and his overall involvement in Resident Evil 4. There's like if I hated the merchant, this would still be I don't know what I would score, but like let's say a 9.5 out of 10. Like I do think it's in that range of like
Yes, I
damn
agree.
near fucking 10 out of 10. And the
I
merchant, like
agree.
if I hated the merchant, it couldn't knock it to a 9.4. Like it's that inconsequential in my opinion.
Exactly. He still had shit to sell me. I still sold stuff to him. He had a purpose, even if he sucked. I would still be like, okay, cool. I get to see the merchant. I'm going to be able to do whatever I need to do to further my game to make it more enjoyable and easier for me to play through. So yeah, it still wouldn't matter, but I don't know what was wrong with his voice. So
Yeah, I think
maybe I don't have a finely tuned ear for that sort of stuff.
yeah, I don't know. I think stuff like the Ada complaint that holds a lot more weight in my opinion
Yeah,
because that's
it
like
affects her character and her. Yeah,
and moving forward, like what the fuck, man? Were we are is this is it? Like
yeah.
no offense to her and but like if this is the character we're gonna have to buy into, like she's a very important character for RE5 and RE6. Like
I agree. If she's, yeah, she wasn't, she was in enough of the game that her voice bothered me at first, and then I moved on with my day. But if she's a more present character in a game, and I got to hear that, like, I'm sleepy and drowsy, then it might be a problem. It
yeah,
might
yeah.
affect it.
And once again, that's on Capcom, man. That they go, what the hell, dude? Like
Yeah,
that's Ada's such a cool ass character, and
she is
you made her almost like I don't know, just not
uninterested in being there.
yeah, not memorable, man.
Yeah, yeah, it was rough, but again, not enough to like go, I'm not playing the rest of this game because of your voice.
Totally. No,
I
hell
wonder if some
no.
people were like that though. Like, I don't like the merchant's voice. Click.
That's insane. That's insane.
It would
Like
be. It would be insane, but I could like. It takes all kinds.
there's people out there that are just like miserable people,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
it's yeah. There's a selection of humanity out there that it's just like, okay, I gotta turn my blinders. Like I can't watch
Oh
this
yeah. I'm the same way. I'll just like ignore. It's fine. I don't care. Moving on
for
with my
sure,
life. Yeah.
for sure. So I I do want to know, like,
Yeah.
out of the what is the memorable, the one thing that you'll take away from this game and for years to come being like, dude, that fucking ruled. Like, is there any one takeaway you have from playing Resident Evil 4 that's like, that's top of the mountain for me?
Oh man. There's so many there's so many spots in the game that I was looking forward to playing from the original. Uh that second Krauser fight
So good.
was so it was so much better. It was so much better that I was like, "Oh shit." Like that really changed the game for me from the original. I wouldn't be able to play it any other way now.
Yeah.
That part of the game was phenomenal. I'm trying to think of other spots in the
Do
game.
do you still think, like, I know for me personally, I'll always remember the original getting to the village for the first time and that
Yes.
encounter being
Yes.
so epic in 2005 or whatever. But the I don't know if, like, I don't know if it could possibly have been done better than it was in this remake. The build up to it was a lot slower. It
Yeah.
felt like it took a little bit longer to get there. So when it did happen, it was like, holy shit, we're here. I'm ready to go. The chainsaw dude's gonna come after me. I kind of know the layout, but it feels a little bit more expanded than the 2005 game. You just, it was such a perfect remake of that section. I love that
Yes.
section so much in the
Yes.
remake.
And I felt like I lived from like the first of the day to the end of the day.
Yeah, it got darker, or
Yeah.
it got brighter. Brighter? I
It
think
got darker
brighter.
at first and then brighter
Brighter.
at the
Yeah.
end after we beat the final boss. I so happy about the jet ski. That I swear to God, that is one of the worst parts in the original game for me. I die so many times trying to get the hell off the island.
Oh, the ending. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. And I beat it in the first try and I was like, huh, huh. But quality of life controls, like the updated controls really made it a lot better. I didn't die on the jet ski this time. And yeah,
Yeah.
I was pretty happy about it.
I didn't die in either the jet
Oh,
ski
I'm
or
so
the
bad in the first one, in the original.
no, I might have died in that. I'm saying
Yeah.
that either the jet ski or the rail, the one where you're on the cart with
Yeah.
Luis. I didn't die in either of those, which could have been
Yeah.
easy moments to make the game just stupidly difficult for no fucking reason. And they gave you Luis's gun with unlimited ammo for when you're
Yes.
in the cart, which is great. Picking off. There's a cool
Agree.
moment on the cart where you see an enemy up above you carrying an explosive barrel when you're coming into like the second section of the cart section, and you can shoot the barrel while they're coming up above you, and it
Yes.
completely takes out that enemy, and you don't have to worry about them when they come
That's
down.
awesome. And I
It's so sick.
loved that I was just one minecart.
Yeah,
I wasn't jumping between a bunch and people were falling into it. That, like, I enjoyed it in the original, but it felt like it was too long. It
yeah.
felt like we spent too much time on that part and it didn't need to be like that. And it was so well paced in this one that it was perfect. I was reading this and yeah, that was like the next thing I was going to mention. Louise and Leon in the house in the village surrounded by the
Oh,
badasses. That was epic. They were coming at you from every which way. You boarded up the windows, they break it down, you board up some other windows. Ashley hid behind the wall. It like I just was like, holy shit, when's it gonna stop? I'm running out of good ammo. Now I'm using my pistol and there's too many people.
yes, dude.
Yeah.
It's so, and that's a big that's where one of my favorite changes from the original to the remake takes place, where you really get to notice it. Where in the original you had to like hold L2 to aim and then press square to reload. And then
Yes.
in the remake you just tap square, it's automatic. It's
Yeah.
like that's such a huge quality of life feature,
It
and you
is.
really notice it in that moment because it is
You
so
do.
bombastic and chaotic, and everything's coming from everywhere, and you're like, holy shit, what do I do? You have to have that reload
Well, I just
like
ran
ready to
upstairs. I
go.
was like, "You're on your own," but then they just kept following me up, and I'd have to go back down to him, and he'd throw me some ammo, which was nice. But yeah, that like reload system, so much better, so
So
much better.
much better.
Oh, we
So
got
much
Mort in the
fucking
house. Hey,
better.
Mort, how's it going? Yo, diggity.
Dude, this is a small thing that I noticed that'll stick out to me forever just because of how specific it is. But I was towards the end of the game. I don't remember what it's called. It was like right before you get to Luis's laboratory,
Okay.
and I smashed through a section, like a bookcase that had a glass covering over the books,
Yeah.
and I smashed through it, and there was nothing there. And then I hit it again with my knife, and it like shook the books, and a little fucking like it might have been ammo. I don't remember what it was specifically, but a little like I got something from doing that. And it was just like, holy shit, the level of detail, the attention to
Yes.
detail for something that small. Like you have to account for so many things in this game for it to work, for it to go right. And to think for a programmer to go, well, that somebody might do this, so let's just throw him a little bump. Like that was so
It
cool,
is
man.
so funny you mentioned that because I remember that, but I didn't hit it twice. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
well, that sucks. It's like opening an empty drawer. And I was like, well, I guess there's nothing there.
Y-
So I didn't get it.
And I did it other times too, and the like either the books wouldn't fall over, or nothing would pop out or whatever. But like this one specific time, I did it. The books toppled over, something popped out. I was like, that's the fucking coolest thing ever.
And speaking of that, in the village, when you're going after everybody goes into the church
Bingo.
or whatever, and that guy jumps out in the is it in a wardrobe or something?
Oh, when he's taking a
I was like, aren't you guys all supposed to be in the church or wherever? Like, do you
I
remember
know
that?
exactly which one you're
I was
talking
like,
about.
there's
Yeah.
none of you were supposed to be chasing me right now. He caught me really off guard.
Yeah, that was a good jump scare. The
But
dude that was
in the
taking a dump.
bathroom,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a good one. There was one that it is on fire. And he pops out at you.
Oh
You're
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
that was a strong one.
There was like some unexpected things that you thought you knew because I expected nothing in that village after everybody the bell rang and they went.
Yeah,
And it was just or when that tower fell, I was like, I wasn't expecting that. Just the little unexpected details that changed it. And then like, yeah, there was some bigger changes in too, but even thinking about those little things made a big difference.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
they nailed like the in terms of attention to detail. This is RE2 is up there for sure as well, but this is like top tier level design and just game design in general. It's
I
it's a
agree.
incredibly well made game across the
It's
board.
it's such a well-made game. I'm
The
wondering what we have left to talk about. I feel like we covered everything really well.
yeah, I
I'm
think we
wondering if anybody else has any questions about stuff.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I was really interested in hearing your take on everybody in the game, and like I feel like we have a lot of similarities when it comes to survival horror,
For
and
sure.
so I kind of I'm going to tell you I when I was listening to you talk about Resident Evil 4 when you're like, I'd like to say, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to say he doesn't like it. And then you said, I'd like to say I disagree with what everybody's saying, but this is a masterpiece, or however you worded it. For a split second, my heart sank. I thought you were going to say you didn't like it. And
Yeah.
I was shattered as a human being. I was like, I can't even believe he doesn't like it. I was so worried.
No, it was when I was playing it, I went into it because I got to be completely honest. I loved the original Resident Evil 4, and
Yeah.
I was like, when they announced that this was the direction they were going instead of going to Code Veronica, I was like, I don't know if this game needs a remake. So a part of me went into RE4 Remake being like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be totally sold on this thing. And then 3 hours, 2 hours, not even
I know.
30 minutes, and I'm just like, yeah, the
I
parrying,
know.
it's you can't beat this. The
Because I
parrying's so
remember
cool.
you and I talking about it, and I was like immediately on board.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm just worried they're going to screw it up.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
remember.
Well, I might have said that. That if I did say that, that's probably not exactly what I believed. I don't think I ever.
Or maybe it was someone else. I know a lot of people were worried because it's such a beloved game that they were going to screw it up. I might be mixing that up too.
I might have said that. I say a bunch of dumbass shit. I ramble on the damn internet. But my thing was like I didn't know the necessity. Like I just felt it was a lot more necessary to get Code Veronica remade because it hasn't aged as well. Even
Yeah.
Resident Evil 1 remake or Outbreak, I think were more deserving of a remake. But then when I start seeing, okay, yeah, you can't move and shoot. Oh, they're introducing this parrying system that totally changed the game. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, this is better. This is better. That's better. It's like, okay. I just at this point, like if they announce tomorrow they're going to Resident Evil 5 remake, as much as like that's not the direction I want Capcom to go, I'm just gonna have to throw my hands up and say, look, I trust you guys. You've nailed it every time. Even Resident Evil 3, the remake.
Yes.
People don't like that one, but I enjoyed the shit out of it. I missed the clock tower, but oh well.
Yeah, exactly. I like the sense of dread that they created with Nemesis was crazy. So it's not the exact same game, but it's a good game. It
Yeah.
is a really good game.
It's short, but it's good.
Exactly. I have a couple questions here. Let me see. Let me get back to this. Patty the Collector. What do you guys think of the knife damage to the point where you now have to hoard the knives?
I love it.
That caught me off guard at first when my knife broke because I didn't know it was going to do that, and I was like a dumbass. I was using my knife to break crates at
Oh
first.
wow.
Yeah, so I broke my knife pretty quickly, and then I was like, well, what the hell do I do with this? And we hadn't seen the merchant yet, and I didn't know what to do, and I did end up getting a kitchen knife and the boot knives and stuff, but it really made it like every time I went to the merchant, I was like, okay, I gotta repair my knife. And then I also thought once I got his armor, I gotta repair my armor. That was like right off the bat, those were the first two things I checked. Repair the knife, repair the armor.
Right.
Was the armor a buy option? Or did we find it? I can't remember.
I believe it's a buy option if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I really don't know. I
I can't
remember
remember either.
Yeah, I remember for me the big moment after you kill Krauser and you get his knife as well as your knife. To me it was just like knife galore. I was like,
Yeah.
I never got to worry about anything at this point. It was I loved that. But in terms of having the damage system to where you had to hoard knives, like I really liked I liked the fact that there would be times where my knife durability was low, so I wouldn't do the parry thing because I was like, if I need this for a chainsaw, if a chainsaw fucker pops out, or
Yeah.
somebody that I really need to use this knife parry on, like I won't do it for the standard enemy. So once again, talking about resource management, even though you always have more than enough ammo to like you're taken care of in that regard. I do
Yeah.
think that that's a little element of resource management that was so carefully thought out. Where like if you could parry nonstop, you could just break the game, run through it, no problem. You're done in 5
That's
hours.
it. Exactly. How much did you love L3 to sort your case?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
That
use
was
that
great.
every time. I was like, I wonder if I have room. Let's see, L3. I was like, yeah, I do. I'm good.
Yeah. I used to love doing it manually, but like I don't know if I'm just getting stupider as I get older. But there would be times where
I
like
always hated doing that manually. I don't know what it
really
was. Yeah, I hated it.
I loved it in the originals, but like I feel that I'm less organized or something as I get older. Like I have trouble seeing like which blocks I
Oh
could.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
its own little puzzle within the game
it is.
to
It's
sort
great.
that case. Yeah, yeah, I agree. What? Okay, Mondane's asking. Oh, somebody did ask though. I think it's down there about. I'll go in order because I'll end up getting confused. What is your next wish list on survival horror remake, Jen and Brandon? I'm going to throw a bone to Scott, and some people mentioned it up in the comment section. Parasite Eve, the first one. I want that remade for Scott so badly. I would love to play it too as a remake. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, Parasite Eve is number one for me as well. Dino Crisis is right up there.
Yeah.
Alongside it, I really want to see Ubisoft's take on something survival horror. With they published Cold Fear back in the day, which I thought was really solid. There's some, but Parasite Eve is number one for me because I think mainly more than anything, you see this renaissance that's taking place within survival horror, and Square Enix is a company that I want to stick around, man. Like they worry me at times with how they do business. It's just like, what exactly is going on over there? And like,
yeah.
Resident Evil 4 sold 3 million copies in 2 days.
Holy shit.
Square Enix, get to fucking making Parasite Eve. Get that money, dude.
People have been yelling for it. Like, it's not just a small crowd of people anymore. Like, I hear a lot of people saying this over and over again. Parasite Eve, especially the first one, needs a remake.
Yeah.
It so does. I don't have the love for it Scott does. I loved sitting with him initially and watching him play it. When he played it the second time, I wasn't as enthusiastic about it. And I know there's probably parts he played by himself just because that first experience was me sitting down with my then boyfriend at the time, right? Because we weren't married then. And it was the first game we consumed together, so it was special. Playing it the second time just didn't have that same feeling to it because it just was so aged. It was so aged. And if it could have a remake, it would be amazing. I think we play it like we played The Last of Us 2. Scott played up to a certain point. He'd pause for the day. And it was I was still shut down during COVID, I think. So when he would go to work, I would play up to that portion of the game that he had played, and then I wouldn't play past it. So we could still experience it as a couple, but I could still get to play it just behind him. So that's how I would like to play Parasite Eve.
Yeah, and like in terms of a narrative that you can sit down and experience, of course, the original wasn't voice acted, but like adding voice actors into that story, that's a good story. The mitochondria and like all of, yeah, this is based in, like, I'm not saying this could fucking 100% take place, but the basis is in reality there. Like they are pulling from like scientific factual research on certain things, and then these characters are interesting and they go through like emotional ups and downs. Like that's a really well written story that I think could translate. Would you want to see turn-based comeback or real-time gameplay?
I am more of a fan if it has to be. I would prefer not turn-based.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Scott might actually enjoy the turn-based because he's really become a big fan of RPG. I would like action RPG. That would be more my jam. I think I could really get into it more.
For sure.
But I wouldn't be upset if they stuck to the original because I could understand why.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't be upset. But look, dude.
But it might not be top of your heap to play through. You might not get to it right day one.
I'd get to it day one. But
would you?
I don't think a lot of other people wouldn't. I'm not trying to turn this into a big battle here, but turn-based games just do not sell as well as these real-time action games. And like
it's more niche for sure.
Yeah, and look, I get there's a passion out there for it, for sure. I respect it, but Square, go get that damn bag, man.
Yeah.
Go make that money, dude. 3 million copies in 2 days for the Resident Evil 4 remake. Are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Go get that. You have the IP. Well, I think there's actually some weird licensing shit because I think Parasite Eve was initially a book or something.
Yes. I feel like it was too, now that you say that. And while we're at it, I would love from them to make Kudelka.
Yeah.
I would love Kudelka made into an action RPG. Because I love that survival horror action RPG aspect. Because I think I would love that too.
Yeah, if you're getting like, there's a lot of those that are just super expensive. If you just remake those to make them cheaper, I'm so down to pick up Kuon. I don't even know if it's fucking good. I just want to play it for $60.
Well, I would almost think about if I could get a copy I just want to play on original hardware.
Yeah,
that's my biggest caveat. I don't want to play on Steam. I know you can play there's certain ones that you can play on Steam. It's just I don't want to play on PC. I want to play on the original console. So I don't even care if it's like a remade, like a re-release of the game, but you don't have the authentic version. Like it's not that original version. If I don't have to pay $1,200 for it,
Yeah.
and I just pay $20-$30 for this like re-release, kind of like comic books, where like this is issue 1 and run 1. I don't care. I'll play it. I just want to put it in original console. That's all I want.
Yeah, and you know, I thought about buying a Steam Deck just for classic games like that I know I'll never buy. Like, I really thought about spending fucking whatever $600 just to play Kuon, because it's like I could spend $600 and emulate a $1,200 game, and then emulate fucking I don't even know, you know, Rule of Rose and some of these others that I won't buy.
Yeah. I really want them because I want to experience them, but fuck, I don't know if I can spend that kind of money.
I can't,
especially where there's other games. Like I'd love to have, speaking of Kudelka, I'd love to have the Shadow Hearts. Like I'd love to play the predecessors to that. I don't know if they're prequels or sequels. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just know I loved Kudelka and I want to play those as well. But we had a Steam Deck come into our local pawn shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
I know. I was shocked. It's not something I can get on board with. I can't get a Steam Deck just because it's going to Siege and there's so much money with that. And then I was like, if I would get anything, I'd want a PSVR 2. So I don't even know if that's worth it. So
yeah, I've ranted enough about PSVR 2. I'll leave it there.
Well, I have to go watch that.
I don't understand that thing.
Yeah. Sam said, so you're going to play a scary game with friends, right? We've been playing a lot of scary games with our friends when they come over. We've been playing through all like Man of Medan, Little Hope. We haven't played Until Dawn yet, although I told Scott it can be played more than one player, but he said it's a one-player game, but it's not. I'm right. I don't know. I don't know either.
I'm such a fucking loner. I play them bitches solo. I just like those little stories, man.
I do too.
One sitting, and I love those little stories.
Yeah, I do too, for sure. J Chip Show saying, I remember walking my way to Mendez's house and suddenly out of nowhere a chainsaw dude showed up and I was not expecting him to randomly show up. That's the whole game. Like, I didn't expect the Chainsaw Sisters.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
One. That fucking rule, dude.
Yeah.
What was your strategy with them?
Run away. Run away, make some space, because there felt like there was a lot of enemies that came right away. But initially when they came through the wall, I threw a grenade at them.
Yep,
I was like, here, eat that. And then I ran away so I could get some space between them and all the other enemies that were coming out.
That was one that I just kept going back to the autosave, trying different shit. And I ended up, similarly, I took the damn, what is it, the flash grenade or whatever, threw it. It would blind them for a second, go up, knife them, and then like
smart.
3-4 times they're done. It's so weird how simple a lot of that difficult shit is. If you just do it 4 or 5 times, you're like, oh, yeah, this is absolutely nothing. You just find like the right little strategy. And once again, to the replayability factor, there's just so much replayability when you are trying different weapons and trying different techniques and strategies. So good.
It is, because I forgot to mention in the very last fight, I a couple times died, and I was like, okay, I'm doing what I think I should be doing by creating space between me and him. However, I just was missing shots. So what I did, because I had so much health, I just got up close. I got up close and L1'd to like not get caught and killed, and fuck, it felt like minutes. And that final boss fight was done. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like it was fast. It was faster than I expected it to be and easier than I expected it to be. But I felt like that in the original too, that was not as hard as I thought it should be.
I also feel like Sadler, I wish we could have just seen a little bit more of him, because by the time we got to that final boss, I was like, I was invested, because obviously he keeps kidnapping Ashley, and he's got this whole nefarious plan. So like, of course you're invested, but it's like, I just wish I could have saw maybe like a cutscene for the family back history. Like I thought that shit between Salazar and their family and the Sadler family. I thought that was so interesting, and to see
Yeah,
like a brief cutscene of that, or to see a brief cutscene of Krauser, how did he get involved in all this? Like, I wish that we could have just got like quick cutscenes to catch up some of those missing pieces that we found for
yeah,
the text, the text logs. I wish we could have got some of that in cutscene form, because I just think it gets you more invested in these characters and hating these characters and wanting to see
yeah.
the big bad taken out.
I agree. I agree. Retro Tiburon saying remake the OG clock tower. That would be really cool too.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about Sadler? For me, I prefer him in the original over this remake.
Yeah,
I could see that. Yeah,
it's
I could
it's
see an argument for that for sure.
it's weird because I don't remember a ton of Sad. Like, that's the bummer with Sadler, is he's the big bad final boss, the constructor of all of this fucked up shit, and I don't feel like in either game I was like totally invested in
Yeah,
taking him out. Like, well, of course you want to, but it's like Mendez felt more like a big ominous, like omnipresent sort of figure that was always lurking. I really felt like he was kind of the more intimidating bad guy, and then I
yeah,
could have been invested more in him as a final boss than Sadler. But obviously with Sadler's whole but his plans were a lot more behind the scenes, and I wish if they would have put that more up front, I think we
yeah.
would have been a lot more invested in taking him out.
I agree. I agree. Sam's asking, I wonder if Parasite Eve 1 and 2 remake would flop. I wonder if I think there's enough interest
For
definitely for the
sure.
first one. And the second one, Scott tried to play and found it rough. So it could really use a remake. I
I
think if
think
they started with one and it went well, they would do good with two.
Yeah, I think we're in a weird spot in the industry right now where like there is a yearning for these remakes, man. There really is. People are like lining up in droves to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake, to buy Resident Evil 2,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4. Like, these things are selling hot right now. And Parasite Eve, the thing about it that's so appealing is there's only two of them. So like there's not a bunch.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
the
yeah,
third
there's
birthday,
third birthday.
but there's not a ton to catch up on. So like new people
Yeah.
can jump in, and it's like it's not like you're remaking Resident Evil 2 or 4 and then not remaking 1. So people are like, where do I go? What do I play? Like Parasite Eve, you remake the first one and people just flock to the first one, and that's their first time playing, and it's totally okay. Like
Yeah.
I think Parasite Eve 1 would probably sell like north of 7-ish million copies. I think that
I
thing
could
would do really well.
I think it would do really well too. I really think it would. J Chip Show says he remembers Captain Algebra being skeptical about RE4 remake, and I feel like yes, that might have been where that was coming from. I know he mentioned that he didn't like the crafting in this one. He didn't like crafting the ammo. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it because I got to play the way I like to play. If I wanted
Yep,
to use the shotgun more, I crafted more shotgun. If I went into a big open area and I knew I was going to have to snipe some people, I crafted some rifle ammo. So I liked being able to have a little bit of agency over how I played the game.
totally.
I thought that was really cool.
Yep, I'm
Yo
with you
yo
100%.
Andy, how's it going? Oh, he's
Listen,
playing it Resident Evil 4 New Game Plus right now. So,
nice. Yeah.
so you finished it. That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun on the second run. It's so
I feel
fucking
like I'm gonna
fun.
play it again. I loved it so much, but I right now I'm playing Shantae Risky Revenge, and I'm really enjoying that. I have never played a Shantae game, so it was kind of exciting to dive into that. But I have to switch back and forth. I'll get into a zone where I'll just play Resident or I'll play survival horror, survival horror, survival horror, and I'll keep going. And then I'm
Yeah.
not enjoying it as much because I'm getting desensitized. I'm like, okay, I got to put that away. I got to play something light, and then I got to go back.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
how I try to do it so that I don't get burnt out because I don't want to ruin myself on my favorite genre.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
it would ruin it.
I wanna replay Resident Evil 4 again, if I'm being totally honest, but it's just like, man, the thing that's preventing me from doing it is, like, doing a weekly show where I wanna have something new to talk about, something new to chat
Yes,
about. Like, that's the only reason I'm not just replaying this thing. It's all I wanna play.
I know.
It's all I want to play.
I couldn't get enough of it. Like every minute I had, I was like, I didn't even take I'm supposed to be taking shifts with Canada Post, and I was like, no, and I declined the shifts because I got to keep up my ratio, and I was just like, I'm declining it for this little 4-day period. I need to finish this game. I need to finish it. Like that's all I
Nice.
wanted to do. I just wanted to play it. Dino Crisis Remake would absolutely be awesome. Yeah. Condemned series would make a great remake, in my opinion.
Oh, yes. Good shout right there. I finished the first Condemned last year. That's a fucking really tense. The enemy design in Condemned is so unique. How they move, and they have their own like patterns that are so different than anything else I'd ever seen in horror. Like they really felt like they were living a life, and you were like witnessing their everyday life. It was really wild how unique those enemies were.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it. That Mort came on Andy's channel and basically told him how to improve his channel and analytics, and I loved that video too, Sam, and I took a lot from it. The only thing I have a hard time with going forward is if I implement it and I don't see difference, then am I going to beat myself up about it?
What were some of the key tips?
It was like Andy specific, so it could be different for everybody. I know Mort mentioned camera angle for Andy because he often has it pointed down, which gives this illusion to the viewer that you're looking down on someone. And just some pacing stuff, some of the B-roll stuff, that it's a very creatively, it makes you happy and you put a lot of effort into it, but that doesn't mean you're guaranteed the views just because it's something you enjoy. It might just be you.
I definitely feel that one.
I feel that one too. So I worked on a video that I was like, I was trying to keep all these little things he was saying in my mind. And I was like, you know what? I need to try to implement something. So, like if you put something in, it needs to be for a purpose. And if you're like connecting something, it needs to be for a purpose. So I really tried to think about that. And it made editing a little bit harder because you get set in your own, you get set in your ways of creating a video, and then trying to say, okay, you know what? Maybe what I'm doing is not right. Maybe I need to switch some things and do some different things. But yeah, that's my only caveat. If I do it, it doesn't work, and I know it's better, it just might mean that analytics wise, I'm doing something else wrong. I'm like, my thumbnails are not poppy enough, or I'm not doing the SEO. I just, the fucking analytics boggle my mind. I can't.
Yeah, it's like it of course everybody gets into creating content to make some cash and to do something that they love and to make money doing something that they love, but it's like, you know, if you got in at 2010 or the, you know, early starts of YouTube, like you're probably doing all right now. And but look, it's a tough hill to climb for sure. And
it definitely is.
There's obviously tips that we could all take, and it would be very beneficial to us, but at a certain point too, like I think if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're just not going to keep doing it unless you're making serious cash.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what, I do find when videos do better, it gives me more, I don't know, I'm excited to edit the next one.
I guess that's true. When
they don't do well, then I'm more caught in I'm stewing in what did I do wrong and I can't figure it out. I don't know. It is because it feels so personal. But it's not personal. It's just like we all click on everything all the time. You're like, not for me. Click, 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 click it, click in, click away. So you can't blame other people for doing it.
For sure. It's whenever you take the emotion out of it and you look at it for what it is, it kind of becomes a bummer to realize what this thing is, and it's literally just a content distribution portal. It's not like a there are people who really support you and are down for you, and who really rock with the stuff you create, but like by and large, to really do like the shit that you need to do to make money, you have to just completely remove a lot of that emotion from it and look at it as a content portal. And
You
that's
do.
that's the big bummer of it all. It's like, ooh, it feels gross, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I like the final product of the edit. I enjoy that. I love the filming portion of the edit because it's me and Scott. We're having our fun little banter. We're being who we are. That's just who we are. If somebody came over to our house and be like, you're just like looking at a video in real life, I'd be like, that's because that's who we are.
Yeah.
But the editing in between, I used to love the editing portion, but now it just feels like work because I have so much going on. I think the people that have it right are the people that can pay to have somebody edit, that are
For
making
sure.
enough money with their videos that they can. And if you have a great editor that really knows how to paste stuff, what music to put where, what to slot in here to make your video better, oh my God, they're worth their money to give them that product and say, make me look good, make
For
this
sure.
shit look good. And
Yeah.
but that's just, it's tough to get to that point where you could justify giving somebody your content and be like, make this look good. It's going to cost me money.
Well,
It's
yeah, and
hard.
that's the thing. It's like, how much money are you making in return to justify that expense? It's like
Yeah.
you could do it as just like a long-term investment of, okay, I'm gonna pay this editor. I don't know. I don't even know
I
what
don't even
editor rates
know.
go.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I would guess probably a few $100s per video or something like that. I would guess.
I could be. It's a lot of work. Like if you're thinking about, fuck, some videos I've worked on, I know for 8 hours. I know I've worked on videos for 8 hours and made like $3 off of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then
It's rough.
everybody's different, I guess, but like, there's no chance I would pay somebody fucking going rates or, pay someone
Yeah.
just, oh, here's, well, technically this is $8 an hour, so this is minimum wage. You should be able to do it. Like, fuck that, dude. If someone's working in collaboration with me, I'm gonna try to treat them as well as possible. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it
It's just not something I can do, but I know an editor is worth their weight in gold. I just don't have the gold. I don't have gold.
yeah, I'm with
I
you.
have gold to spread around. It's just
I'm
not
with you.
happening. Yeah. Fatal Frame remake would be cool.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah. The only zombie horror game I liked was Yakuza Dead Souls. I haven't played Yakuza Dead Souls, but I'd like to.
Yeah, I need to get into that damn series. That's a series I know I'd love. I just keep putting it off or whatever.
Plants vs. Zombies count as survival horror? If you're playing with my kid, it does. I've tried to play it with him, and I just survived the experience more than the game. He's just way better than me at that. There's a Parasite Eve movie that takes place before the first game. It's on YouTube if you're curious to watch it.
Dude, I'll definitely watch that.
That's
I
gonna make us
appreciate
watch
that.
that today. Amnesia, that's a great game as well.
I never played Amnesia. That was like right around the turn of survival horror that it took a kind of different direction that I didn't love, and Amnesia was kind of the big poster boy for that. But in terms of what it did on its own, it was so important to usher in that new era of like shit. What's the one? Big one, first person runaway. Uh, they got a new one coming out this year, or supposed
Trying
to
to
be this
think.
year. Outlast.
Oh
Outlast.
yeah.
And you had a bunch of
Yeah.
games that kind of mimicked that, and then Five Nights at Freddy's and
Yeah.
shit like that. They became real popular for like Twitch streamers and stuff. But Amnesia, I heard, was incredible. I really would like to play that one. And Amnesia inspired one of my favorite horror games ever, Soma, which is incredible.
What was that?
Soma,
Soma?
S
Oh,
O.
okay. I
Yeah.
haven't played either one. There's so many great games I've missed just because I've just got into it that I'm constantly scraping to get to all the stuff that I want to play. And there's so many things, but taking those breaks and like playing a more lighthearted game keep me from playing everything all at once. I'm going to get to them. I'm going to get to all of them. Is there a borrowing system online as far as games go? I don't know. Oh, shoot. I almost put you on timeout, Sam. I didn't mean to. I clicked on the wrong spot. I don't know if you saw it, but I would love to see you do the 3-minute in hell concept. What is 3-minute in hell? I don't know what that is. Oh, Sean, I'm going to get through all the Shantaes. I've been loving them. Oh,
I've
Chill
never played
Sisters.
one.
Yeah, it's fun. I did not expect it to. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, and I'm really loving what I've played of Shantae so far.
Are they super expensive?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
missed out on getting the collection, and I don't know if it's still there at our local pawn shop. And I'm kicking because I didn't have a connection to Shantae because I'd never played one. So Scott mentioned it to me. He's like, "You should get that," and I was like, "Okay." Like, it's not survival horror. I don't know why you think I should get that. And then I got this one, and I'm enjoying it so much that I could see myself playing through it. So yeah, but some of them are wicked expensive, like
Damn, yeah.
$200-300, wicked expensive. And I'm just like, wow. And then there's so many of them.
Yeah. They look cool though. They do look cool.
They do look cool. Yeah, it's I'm having fun. You guys make me laugh when I watch. That's all you need. Thank you so much. That's all we want. We just want people to have fun with us when they're with us. That's all I care about. If you're having fun, I get to connect with you. That's my main priority. Anybody would be lying if they said they didn't want to grow their community just because it's fun to interact. It's what makes it fun to be on YouTube. The making the content sometimes or editing it is the sloggiest part, so that when you grow your community and you have more people interacting with you, then it makes it even more fun, I think.
No doubt about that. Yeah, having just
Yeah.
even a little bit of like, hey, that shit was cool. Like it's like, oh, whoa, it really boosts you up. Like, okay, cool, fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Sam's saying she'd rather edit than film. And if you were filming with someone, I think you might find that a little bit different, because it's almost like you're hanging out and having a fun time with a friend when you film all together. Like when the three of us get together and we're filming, we're just fucking laughing and having a good time. And then we're talking about how much fun we had. Like, we have videos nobody watched, and it was early on, and it's still one of the highlights of our YouTube. Our whole YouTube is like me and Dennis playing hot shot golf, and all the lead up to that with and it was so amateur hour, and I could do it so much better now, and eventually we will. But we talk about that. Like, I almost pissed my pants laughing at how many takes it took Dennis to get through that. It was a blast, and I would never change it to make that video better, because the experience was worth every single part of it.
I'm gonna have to fucking hop on Tinder for gamers just to fucking recruit some gamer friends. Like all of my buddies, they play Call of Duty, they play the sports games, but none of them play like the type of stuff that I'm interested in, story games or anything. So it's like I don't even like I've thought about bringing them on. It's just like I don't. But there is probably something there that just a fun chat, just to have a fun chat. Like even though they might not be interested in most games, but they could still, I used to love sports games. Like I loved sports games back in the day, and it's crazy how you just kind of bob and weave out of that shit. But if there was there was a Tinder for gamers, I'd go and recruit some.
I want you to like this and this and this. Swipe whatever fucking way. I don't know, because I've never been on Tinder.
Dude, it does. I
love that I met Scott in an age where it wasn't a thing yet.
Oh man, it is rough.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
It's weird. It's simultaneously the easiest time to ever date and also the hardest time to ever find anything that's like real, substantial. Yeah.
Oh man, I met Scott the OG way in a club.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like 100 years ago, like literally 20. Fuck, how many years, Scott? How many years? 23 years ago. We've been dating 23 years. We've been together, not dating. We're married, but yeah, we've been together 23 years.
That's so awesome.
He's my favorite person in the entire world. Like, I just want to spend every day with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
I got very lucky.
Did he hit you with a pickup line, or was it just a straight up like buy a beer conversation type thing?
No, we just met in a group of friends. He was with a group of friends that also he went to college with a cousin of mine. I had just left college because me and my boyfriend at the time broke up, and we met out And I remember he said, "It's my birthday." This was a couple times we had been out with the crowd. "It's my birthday. Give me a kiss." And I went to kiss him on the cheek and he turned his head. And I was like, "You jackass." And like, I'm not trying to Me Too movement my husband here. I didn't mind it. I was fine. It's fine. Don't send anybody. I'm fine. Should I hold up the paper? Like, I don't know what to do right now. Yes, I'm fine. I love him. It's not a Me Too movement. I promise. He didn't Me Too movement me. It's good.
That's another thing too in the modern dating game where it's like, you know, even back in high school, I just remember like there was just a recklessness about like everything was like, fuck it, we're wild, you know, it's a wild wild west. And then it's like, oh yeah, shit. Some people don't like all of this fucking aggressiveness.
Oh, I know. Is it okay if I hold your hand? Like, I'm so scared right now. I just don't even want to touch you. Like, holy shit. How do you make a move? Like, how do you be spontaneous when you have to ask, like, can I kiss you, or are you going to get mad? Am I going to have a lawsuit? Like,
yeah,
it's so.
I can't do it anymore, dude. I really like, if I haven't known you for quite some time, and you know if we haven't had a fling in the past, like I don't know, it's tough to just make that new connection.
You don't want to end up on the front pages of your newspaper.
Refuse to, man. Refuse to.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's a wild, wild world out there.
But it's like, you know, it's also a thing too where the fucking media is so shitty about making that the front page of everything. And like, it's like, dude, most women aren't, and most dudes aren't fucking creeps. Most women aren't trying to get people. It's like,
but it sells. Ugh. It sells.
It does.
That fucking creepy bullshit sells.
And I also will say, like, I think there is a real positive to it in the fact that, like, you as a dude, or at least I hope most dudes could kind of look at some of the shit that they might have been saying to chicks, like just random fucking things that, like, yeah, there was shit that I said when I was, you know, 15 to 22. But you
grew up?
Yeah. But I don't like, without that movement popping up, and you know, without people saying like, yeah, we don't want to be catcalled, and we don't want to, like, you know, who knows if things would have changed a little bit. So there's positives to it for sure.
Andy, get world woke or go broke. And Giv wants to know, patiently waiting for some good old retro rival pickups. There, well, we have some stuff over there, not a whole lot. We've still been playing. We've still been trying to be somewhat good. I'm going to spend all my money at Siege.
What do you have a dollar amount that you're thinking about?
I don't even. No, we've been saving money away, and I feel like no matter how much money we save, there's going to be more we want there than what we put away. That's the consensus I'm getting from everybody. They're like, you don't even know. And I'm like, I don't. Because we have nothing like this here. Nothing.
I've never been to one either. We don't have them down here.
Oh my God. I'm going to take a second mortgage out. I'm not really, guys, but it's, we're going to have to be like, and also the dollar exchange. Yeah. What Siege, Andy? What Siege? He's leaving. He lives in Greenville. And we'll be away the weekend. He probably doesn't. He's probably like, I don't want to talk about it again. But yes, he's going to be gone away.
He made plans before it was announced for those dates or something?
Well, he thought it was going to be the week before because it usually is.
Yep, I thought that too. Because I looked at the thing from last year and saw that it was the week before. And I have a conference for work that I was going to attend the 15th and 16th, right? This year. And I had to change it to an earlier one.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know either, because when I started like preemptively looking at hotels and stuff, I was looking for the weekend before because I didn't know if they had released the date yet. Yeah. So yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. All the sad faces.
Oh, yeah. I think me and Mondane are going to road trip down there together.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. That's so excited. I'm so excited to see you guys all. Like, it's just, that's what I'm living for. I'm like counting days. We're a little over 3 months out. It's going to be a blast. Like, if any of you guys are there and you see us, please come say hi. And that's the thing too. Sometimes you only see people. Oh, I did see that, Sam. I put the 3-minute explanation above. I did see that. But yeah, some people I've never seen their face because they're just commenting. Like they don't have a YouTube presence, but they comment. So if I don't know who you are, please come say hi because I just don't know. Right. So yeah, I'm so excited to see everybody and have a great time.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
pumped, dude. Mondane was hitting me with like his budget, what to expect for the budget because he's been to these conferences and stuff before, these cons. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, okay, I definitely got to put back a little bit more.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking no matter what I save, it's not going to be enough, and we're just going to be happy. Have to be happy with what we can get.
Yeah, break out that credit card.
Yeah. I got a gold card here. It's just no, I don't. All right. Well, we don't have anything else to say. I don't want to like toot our own horns or like, I think we did Resident Evil 4 a pretty good job. I think we covered it pretty well. I hope you guys had so much fun in the chat. I love that you guys came and hung out with us. It's been a long time. I love that we were able to finally do something survival horror.
Yeah.
Like it's my favorite, and I loved sitting down and talking with you about it, and we talk a lot on your channel too through comments about anything. You put something survival horror on, I'm commenting on it. That's how that goes, and it's a blast. I'm so happy we were able to do this. I'm so happy you came on.
Oh, I appreciate the hell out of it. I love chatting survival horror with you. Love chatting Resident Evil with you. So yeah, anytime y'all want to do anything, just hit me up and I'll beat her.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. And I don't have a beer, so I can't say cheers or game on or anything like that. But I am awake. I had a coffee, so see you later.
Hey, I do want Mondane.
Yeah.
And we definitely got to do something. Mondane, you, Scott, Dennis. I've been wanting to hit you up about that. I remember when I think Scott pitched that idea to the last time we recorded.
Yes, he did. Yeah, we would love that. That would be so much fun.
For sure. I'll hit up Mondane and we'll get that scheduled for sure.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, guys. Take care. See you later.
Appreciate you guys. Bye.